hit recording. I'm going to start this morning by very quickly letting you know what the game of um, plan is for the rest of the day. So we're going to start with talking about cross-sectoral innovations this morning. What does it mean to truly be innovative? Usually, I spend 2 hours talking about the difference between creativity and innovation, but for the sake of the format and the time we have, we're going to do this in next 10 to 15 minutes. After that, I'm going to have a quick look at the Excel sheet, and because the workshop is aimed at all of you getting a grasp of basic principles of human-centered design for creating social enterprises, you can continue to work on your ideas if you're very sure about it, and if you're hell bent on doing that, good for you. But you might not benefit from working collaboratively with a team member, which I truly find is amazing. When I started out my entrepreneurship journey, I was a solo founder. I struggled a lot until I actually had people with whom I can bounce off ideas. It feels amazing when you think you came up with an idea by yourself, but until you hit uh, creative exhaustion and you can't think beyond something, and you always need a good cop bad cop um, dynamic in your team. So I would recommend, if possible, to collaborate with other people over this weekend. You may not have to stick with them post workshop, but it will give you a chance to learn collaboration, how to work together, and work together on creating that presentation on the end, on the final day. But the goal is that after the end of this workshop, you're not going to be running out with your businesses active. You're going to be That will be the first day of your rest of your life, in one sense. The workshop is the beginning of it. So having learned everything, getting a taste of all of these things, you can then take it back, and on your time you can actually use it on any other startup that you wish to. So I would really recommend, if possible, for all of you to think about collaborating with someone else. One of the ways I can help you guys is, I have the Excel sheet. I sent it on the chat. You can have a look at it. We can go over that, and we can maybe try to find some similarities in on the basis of goals. If multiple people are working on climate change, they might have a different approach of how they do it, but you guys can collaborate on that. Same with poverty, financial inclusion, healthcare, gender inequality. So let's find some commonalities if we can. Again, no pressure. If you wish to work alone, I completely respect that. We'll do team making after the cross sector innovations. Then we will break out people in breakout rooms on for this team's basis of SDGs, and they will continue to work for 15 minutes on some of their ideas based on the problem statement. After that, we're going to learn a concept called design for extreme. We will see how to use DFA philosophy for truly being creative with your ideas. People talk about, I want to be creative, and a lot of people believe they are not creative. I can debunk that myth that everyone is creative. Even biologically, there have been tests that we all have in our brains a part that's responsible for creativity. Though there is not one singular part, it's a combination of multiple neurons firing at the right time, but there still is. So I use that philosophy to believe that everyone can practice creativity. We're going to see a small taste of one of the tools that I use to think creatively, and it's a fun exercise. So you'll get 10 minutes to actually work on that. We will randomly pair up people. You won't be working with your actual teams. The fun is actually randomly pairing up with someone, and they're really very crazy projects, for mini projects, if I may, for those 10 minutes to see how you can be creative. We come back from that. We again focus on your ideas towards making it more towards solution. And the second half of the day, the last 1 hour, almost 1 hour, Rohan will be talking about how do you take your ideas and turn it into prototypes, especially if some of you have tech prototypes, building an app or a website. We want you to actually build that in next week. I've done this workshop. In fact, this February, when I was in GW campus, people built actual websites in 1 hour or 2 hours. And some of them built app prototypes, wireframes. There are a lot of tools available. If you know about it, great. You don't need any coding skills, by the way. So Rohan will take you through all of that. And finally, we will end the day with giving you access to a Slack link. Slack, I don't know if you guys already are familiar with it. I'm assuming most of you must be. It's just a communication tool which we will be using between now and the next weekend. And on Wednesday, midweek, we will do a checkpoint with all of you. So we'll do kind of an ask us anything. We will be on chat for 1 hour. Feel free to bounce off ideas, pick our brain. We will be there exclusively to talk to all of you for that 1 hour. It will be around this time in the morning, so that it can suit everyone wherever you guys are, maybe later in the evening for some of you who are in different countries. But so that's the run of the flow. The culture for today remains the same: ask questions, collaborate, jump in. The spreadsheet is view only, that's true. You are not going to edit it on the spreadsheet. Rohan has already given you type form. Please go and fill your answers on the type form. And Scott is here this morning as well, I see him. Scott, feel free to jump in anytime you need to, but good morning, good to have you here. Okay, guys, so let's get started. I'm going to share my screen and we will get this started.
Hey,
Rohan,
but
yeah,
before you get started, I was
go
watching
ahead.
Bloomberg this morning, and they
You
had a
were okay.
special report that said that entrepreneurship has been trending down for the past 3 years.
Yeah,
So I don't know what's happening with all this innovation or creativity, but it is not showing up in the marketplace.
do you know why?
Well,
Pandemic.
one,
Yes.
it, it is easier to talk about creativity and ideas than to actually perform it.
Absolutely. Actually, the last 3 years have been quite uncertain, and pandemic definitely was not helpful, but has been quite uncertain for how the economy has been progressing worldwide. While we talked about American numbers doing great, but we saw a huge shift in how people were participating in democracy, and that affected how capital flowed across these countries. In fact, I don't know this particular episode that you're talking about, was it talking about the world or US in particular, but my experience of working in Africa, I've seen a sharp rise in number of people participating in entrepreneurship in countries, in some African countries, at least where I work, like Kenya for starters. They saw a huge influx because I think what happened in last 4 or 5 years, some of these countries reduce their reliance on American donation and Western aid and realize that they have to take matter in their own hands. And it's better to seek a job, better to create a job than to seek jobs because there weren't many. So it forcefully led them to create new solutions. There have been a lot of interesting projects that came out. Also, there was a shift in a lot of new technologies. Cryptocurrency came in, blockchain came in. There was a lot of uncertainty around what's going to happen. There were no regulations for those kind of startups. So a lot of startups suffered, failed, and that's true for a lot of other technologies that employed AI. And but we did see a huge rise in technology adoption in general. And Nicosia is actually raising hand. Maybe has something to add. Please go ahead, Nicosia.
Oh, hi. My name
Hi,
is pronounced Nakaja, but it's
Nikaza.
fine. Nakaja, yes.
Nikaja.
Nakaja.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say, yeah, I was reading an article in Wall Street Journal that was talking
Yeah,
about black banks, black owned banks in America, and how in the 60s or even earlier than that, there was about 34 black banks, but now there's only 18 banks.
yeah,
And it's really hard for black America, like there's just a divide, there's an economic undevelopment
there,
for the black community where there's not enough funding for black people to get loans. So let alone like white owned banks, they
yeah.
don't give black people loans enough for their businesses, but also like there's not enough black banks that exist. So I think that's like another market that people also need to get into, like and it seems complicated, but just the idea of loaning other people's money to give it out to other people, like creating banks, is like something that we need in order to increase the amounts of businesses that do exist in certain demographics, but just in general, right? Some people just aren't eligible for loans, and that's like a huge factor as to why you see a drop in businesses. It's less than what it was in the 60s. Like, that's crazy, right? So that was just a little fun fact.
No, that was awesome. In fact, on that note, I'm sharing a link with everyone. There's a very cool unconference based out of San Francisco, but now based out of Zoom. It's an unconference for Black and Brown entrepreneurs in America. I know this organizers personally. I just posted the link on the chat. Trust me, it's open for everyone. Please check it out. And if you need any connection with this community, I'm happy to make introductions. I know the organizers, I know the community very well. So check out coliberate.us, and they are quite a strong community based out of San Francisco. They're kind of their own subculture within the white entrepreneurship scene in Silicon Valley, which used to be relevant a lot. So check out this, and it's open for everyone, but specifically focused on Black and Brown entrepreneurs. Okay, so I love this, guys. Keep this conversation open. This is how we're going to learn from each other. Okay, moving on. Same facilitators, you know us, me and Rohan joining from India this evening again. So let's start with cross-sectoral innovations. Um, The very basic of cross-sectoral innovation is where you try to solve a problem. Let's say you're trying to solve poverty, or you're trying to solve healthcare access, or one of those things. You are going to try to not solve that problem on the basis of the understanding of that domain, but trying to find a completely different solution in a different domain. So imagine using an innovation from food industry to and applying it to pharmaceutical industry, or applying it to entertainment industry, a completely different industry. So you port an innovation from one sector, and you lift it and put it in the other sector. Now it's very sounds very simple, but I'm going to show you some examples that will truly give you an idea in next few minutes. Okay, my first one, most important one. So this is functional innovation. This is, you can clearly see the bird was inspired by the train. Okay, that's a joke. The design for the train was inspired from the bird, and you see a combination of biomimicry and how the design is inspired truly, and put it in industrial design to create a rapid means of transportation. This is a very uh, ephemeral way of getting innovation, and it's very functional in one sense, and it's basically taking its inspiration from something from the nature. We see this all the time. Let's go to a little more detailed one. So experiential innovation, this is about taking an experience from a particular industry and putting it into a completely different one. So a sushi restaurant got inspired from the baggage claim, and how, it's semicircular and it's moving. You just have to stand there and the bags will come to you. And when they were making fresh sushi, they realized they can just have a table that's circular and curved, so they can serve more people at same time, and they can, the chef can go in and start putting fresh sushi on each one's table. And you have more access to the customer. So again, this is about experience. You're not really lifting the actual technology, but you're lifting the experience, looking at something else. You really need to be very sharp as an observing entrepreneur. Can I have your email? Yeah, sure, Mike. I will put in my email, and I will share it with all of you. So we can have offline conversations. You can lift up experiences from a completely different sector and bring it, that can truly change the dynamics of how you solve a problem. Let's look at some other ones. This is my personal favorite. I don't know if any F1 fans in the room. Let me ask a question. Any idea of how much, by the way, does anyone know how much time does it take for a pit stop in a sports car race like F1, NASCAR? So if you don't know what's a pit stop basically is where you change all the tires, you put in the fuel, you check for the brakes, you check for the engine, you even replace the oil, all of it, servicing your whole car practically, while you're racing. So Lily says 3 seconds. Okay.
16
Any
seconds.
16 seconds, Mike? Okay. Anyone else? Give me an average. 9 seconds, Kashyap. Okay. Anyone else? 15 seconds. Okay, closest is Lily. The average is actually 4 seconds. So in 4 seconds, they change all the four tires. They align the tires, rotate the tires, they check the brake lights, they refuel the whole car, all of it, and the car is back on the track. And here's the cool part: the driver of the car doesn't even get outside the car; they just sit there. So that is so. Why does my car take 4 hours, Lily? Exactly. Uh, but here is an awesome thing to know. Does anyone have an idea? Maybe Lily, about this since you were closer to the answer. What is the fastest pit stop ever? Like doing all of the average is 4 seconds, but what is the fastest ever? Yeah, 1.4. I think it was 1.9, but somewhere around that 1.4 to 1. Was it Ferrari or Mercedes? Right? I think it was Ferrari, and they spent around roughly 100 to 200 million dollars in those 2 seconds. No, you're right. You're guessing, but you're making all the right guesses. They spent around $100 million in that 1.9 seconds to make sure. And by the way, if you do 15 seconds, you are out of the race for the whole season. You're not coming back ever. There's no chance you can make up the points. So it has to be Ford versus Ferrari. Yeah. So the inspiration for that pit stop really was inspiration for how can I deliver food in the food industry, deliver food without the person getting outside the car. And you guys use that all the time, the drive-throughs. So drive-through was inspired from F1 industry, from the sports industry's pit stop innovation. So you really can observe beyond your domain to port some of these ideas. And that's why I kept saying yesterday, if you have an idea, good job. But allow yourself the opportunity to explore beyond your domains. If you have a problem statement, not an idea, you have an opportunity to look around the world. You can look for innovations and inspirations in completely different domains that you may never have thought of. Okay, let's move on. Stroller design of the wheels compacting when you're not using it, inspired from the landing gear of planes. They're very stable when the planes land, most of the cases, unless you've had a bad experience. Again, how a consumer good is inspired from a large scale industrial innovation. Yeah, NASCAR takes longer than F1. F1 is the fastest. They are the gold standard in auto sports car racing. In fact, true F1 fans will never even talk about NASCAR. Okay, this one is very close to my work because I am a biomedical engineer by education. So I worked a lot on medical imaging systems, CT scan, MRI scan, PET scans. And this truly inspires me because I'm aware of the problem that children are really scared. Forget children, adults are sometimes scared to go inside that CT and MRI machine. It can be claustrophobic, it can be just a really scary experience. So Philips, GE, a bunch of companies actually collaborated and got inspired from theme parks like Disney, and they created a whole experience. They painted the walls. In fact, the nurse who would assist you to get your MRI would be dressed up in a cartoon character. So it feels like a theme ride in itself. You don't even realize you're getting scanned, especially for kids. So this was truly an innovative service experience, and I believe it's an empathetic innovation where you truly empathize with your user. You can of course change how the device looks and all of that, but that sometimes is impossible, especially if you're in a heavily regulated industry. The reason I have this example is sometimes you work in pharma, you work in industries which has very strong regulations, and people are like, we cannot innovate. You tell us all of these things, but once you come on the healthcare piece, it has to be in a certain way. So that's not true. You can always innovate, especially the more the constraints, the better room for innovation. I don't know how many of you have Roomba at your home, the vacuum cleaner that moves around by itself. The pattern for Roomba was the same pattern that was used for military tanks to sweep for landmines. Same, absolutely exactly the same. So imagine you have a landmine detector at your home. The same algorithm that was used to detect weird landmines was then eventually ported for a domestic vacuum cleaning application. In fact, GPS, there's a really cool TED talk, I can't remember, but it talks about uh, the power of technology and how today it's called, yeah, dual use products, exactly. But if you think about it, GPS was invented to during World War II. The first application, we talked about sonar and radar, the most basic form of locating something using sound waves, and of course then we changed it in multiple ways, but it was used to find enemy warships and put a missile and destroy it. Today we use it to find a coffee shop near us. So you just see how things evolve, but it's exactly the same technology. Okay. BMW's car console was inspired from Xbox gaming gaming console. So you can see an innovation of user interface. They use this simple user interface like a joystick to change your sound and change your tracks and access your phone book while you're driving, making it almost gamifying the experience of using your dashboard. And I don't remember which BMW series, maybe series 5, 6, 7, I don't remember, but you can find this on BMW's. If you Google BMW, you'll find this particular example as well. Now, how do you really do something like this? How do you actually do cross-sectoral innovation? So I'm trying to boil it down to three simple things here. By the way, again, you will have access to this slide deck, so don't worry. Behavior based, partnership driven, and analogous based. There are multiple ways to, of course, you observe stuff, but you need some kind of a framework. How do you even observe stuff, and how do you port that observation to your domain? My first one is behavior based. So you just look at how people behave in a completely different industry. It's called latent behavior. So, for example, if you're trying to create a door stopper, you try to see how do people generally try to stop a door from getting banged because of wind. They put their shoe. That's my design thinking student, my 11-month-old daughter, who is agreeing to what I'm just saying. So everything's fine. Everything's under control. You look at behavior of people, how they do it, how they use products, even if it's not intended to be used in a certain way. So for example, your pencils. How many times have you seen a carpenter or a baker put their pencil on top of the ear? That's latent behavior. You observe things like this and you create interesting stuff out of it. So one of the things that Bank of America did was keep the change program, which is, by the way, now PNC Bank. A lot of banks have this. They looked at millennial behaviors and they said millennials don't like savings. They don't know the power of savings. That is previous generation. We don't save money because we don't use money. We use credit cards, so we don't even realize we're spending. We end up spending more. So they're like, how do we if you ask people to do it, they might still not do it. But how do you include a solution which where they don't have to modify their behavior? We modify our products, they don't modify their behavior. So they saw that people are purchasing a lot using phones and cards. So how about every time you buy more, you actually save? So they just rounded up. If you participate in this program, they round up your 4.96 coffee worth of coffee from Starbucks and round up 4 cents and add it to your savings account. So the more you spend, every time it rounds up to the nearest biggest integer and puts that difference in your savings account. You don't even realize, and then by the end of the month you have $50 in your savings account. And guess, if you're a grad student, that could make or break your life, that $50. So that was, they actually saw a bunch of they saw almost 1 million people opening accounts to participate in the program. So it was truly transported into business. They were just looking at people's behavior, and they imported that behavior and created a solution. It's called Keep the Change. Let's look at partnership driven. So Fitbit partnered with Boston Parks and Recreation, where they said, we will, if you give us access to your healthcare data. I'm always scared about this kind of innovation, but they do exist. Your doctors, if you go to a doctor and they charge you for a copay, and your insurance companies charge you for obviously a premium to make sure. But if you give access to your fitness data, how many, if you're walking 10,000 steps a day, if you are doing all of that, you can actually reduce your premium, and the doctor copay can go down. So if you're sick, despite you taking care of yourself, the doctor is like, you've been taking care of yourself, but you're still sick. So I can see your healthcare data. So this is a little challenging situation. It's intrusion of privacy, but it's a choice that people make. But it was an interesting innovation, a completely two random part. So imagine a park and a recreation partnering with a healthcare tech company. Those are two random domains coming together to form a third product affecting insurance and payout industry. So that's again an insurance innovation, if I may, in healthcare industry. It's of course right now being tested, and there's going to be a lot of regulatory issues that they might face. But innovation is about breaking rules, right? And the final one is analogous based. This one just takes it out of the park. So how many of you know about Rolls-Royce as a company? Everyone has heard of Rolls-Royce. You know of them as luxury. Yes, Kashyap. Yeah. You want to say something, or you know of it? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, I
awesome.
know of it.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we all know of it as a luxury car brand, but they also manufacture airplane engines, and they're one of the best in the world. So mostly airplane engine companies, they do engines, exactly. They make a lot of money by selling engines to these planes, of course, but they make more money than that by doing maintenance of those engines, because they're proprietary. No one else can open up that engine. If it's not like your cell phone where you buy it from Apple, and to save some money you go to a random third party repair service. By the way, Apple is also trying to stop that now. But you can go to a mall and get your iPhone repaired. This is airplane. We are dealing with like human life. So only the person who sold you engine can actually open it and maintain it. And unlike your cars, which need maintenance after every 100,000 miles or 50,000 miles, whatever, airplane engines have to be serviced and maintained after every single ride. So that's very expensive. And when obviously when the engine has been maintained, the plane is not flying. I don't need, there's no need for me to say that to you guys. You get that. So it has to be serviced when it's on landed on the strip, and there can't be it can't be functional, obviously. So it's losing money, because every minute a plane doesn't fly, a passenger airline doesn't take passenger from place A to B, it loses money. So Rolls-Royce actually figured out a very creative way of solving this problem. They're like, we are charging, let's say Southwest Airlines buy 5 planes from Rolls-Royce, and they have to buy a maintenance contract. It's very expensive. Rolls-Royce said, we will give you free maintenance, we'll not charge you. That was a game changer right there. Like, what do you mean free maintenance? Like, nobody does that, because that's where you make money. But this is truly an innovative business model. Rolls-Royce claimed, we will do the engine servicing, and every single minute your plane is in the air, we will charge you for that. Every time your plane doesn't go down, we will charge you for that. So we'll not charge you when your plane is not moving, because that's our job. We will do this engine servicing for free, but we'll charge you by the minute when your plane is on the air, because they're like, we will make money when you make money. We will not make money when you lose money. So it was a very interesting way, completely turning the business model upside down, looking at a newer way of maintaining of a business model for maintenance of aircraft engines. And of course they branded it, they trademarked it, it's called Powered by the Hour. And then a lot of engine companies copied the model, because you can't really patent something like this, but you can trademark the name, which they did. So that was a really interesting save the change with your great grandparents. Econs, yeah, Econs also does provide millennial saving options. Okay, this is not really important for us. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to, by the way, any questions for cross-sectoral innovation before I go to the next phase? Any questions for me? Can we get a case study or article on Rolls-Royce? Of course, I can connect with you guys. I can send an email on more details of the Rolls-Royce article. Not a problem. Rohan, please take a note of that so that I can respond to that email. Any other
Absolutely.
questions for me? Did you guys have any favorite from these examples? Any particular one that you liked specifically, or you had already heard of it? I can run it over.
I mean, I like that Rolls Royce concept.
Rolls Royce, yeah, I think it's one of my favorites as
It
well.
sells you on
It's
the idea that the you win when they win, right? It's like
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But I also
yeah.
have, so I love my little Roomba. So it's hard to.
Sorry, what is it?
I have that Roomba iRobot vacuum. It's like one of my.
Oh, you do? Okay, yeah, yeah. Roomba. RR has the best winning strategy. Yeah, I like the MIR concept. You mean MRI? Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
MRI.
No problem. Yeah. Anyone else has an example that you can think of that's cross-sectoral innovation that you think must have come from a completely different domain?
I was thinking checklists in the hospital setting come really from like the airline industry. So
Okay.
surgical checklists, ICU checklists, those come from the airline checklist,
Yeah.
flight checklists. So
Yeah. 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 Apple and the music industry. Yeah, that's interesting. One of my not a do you know the examples that implemented art into cross-sectorial design thinking? Art. That's a great question, Adele. I I would need to get back to you on that. I am very strong that art has influenced innovation for ages. Sometimes it's very subtle, you don't realize. But Free Breakfast Club by Black Panthers and then soon implemented by US government. Interesting. So that's right there is one. But I'll try to find some more. Yeah, Mike actually just posted this link, which is what I use. Mental health and art. Um, if you look at your smartphone keyboards, QWERTY. You guys know the history of QWERTY keyboards? No one does? Oh, that's a shocker. Okay, so no one ever imagined why your keyboards don't have A to Z in order, and why is it completely in a random order? You just took it for granted. Okay, so very simple. Yeah, you guys can Google it, but it comes from the fact that typewriters used to have QWERTY keyboard, and it was invented by someone because the typewriters would the first typewriter, the old ones, you had to hit the key and it would go and bang it. And if you're typing too quickly as an author, the keys would get jammed and your typewriter would not work anymore. It would literally, you can destroy a typewriter because if you're typing very quickly, A, B, C, D, which is what people, it was all A to Z, the first typewriter. And it was very intuitive. But someone said, I will make a non-intuitive design where you can't type fast. So QWERTY keyboard was created to stop from people typing faster. Of course, humans broke that, and now if I actually scramble your keyboard and put it A to Z, you won't be comfortable with it. But QWERTY was invented to make the typewriter's typing activity slow so that it doesn't jam the typewriter. And now we just imported that to computers, and it came to your smartphones. And there have been people who have actually changed QWERTY keyboards, and they failed miserably because people are like, we hate this. We can only type using QWERTY. Like our brain just processes QWERTY as the regular way of arranging letters on a keyboard. That's so, I mean, I find that really interesting that how we adapt it. Okay, let's move on. I'm going to open up the sheet right here. So this one will be, I'll need all of us to participate. So let me open it up and ask everyone, how many of you are open to working in teams on this Zoom? Again, no pressure, you don't have to, but how many of you are open to collaborating with someone else on this team? I'm going to expand this. I'm trying my best with my left hand to increase the size of this. Rohan, can you increase the size of this? I can't do it with my
Yeah,
left
I'll do that
hand. I'm
once.
trying. Thank God for Google Docs. Okay. I need the C column to be expanded. Yeah. A little bit more because I think people have multiple goals. So and maybe you can just wrap the text so that we can see everything. Thank you so much. That's really helpful. Okay, guys. So we have people filling in. I'm assuming everyone on the call today has kind of filled it. Uh, Okay, I do see some messages from people that they're open to collaborating with someone else. So what you can do is we will just put it right here. I'm going to read it out loud, even though you can see it on my screen, that Lily is working on goal number 3, which is good health. Goal number 9, industry innovation. Goal number 12, responsible consumption. I mean, she's
No, no,
interested
no,
in
no.
these things.
No, hold on one second.
Yeah.
The question that answer it asked, maybe I misunderstood it, was put all that you're interested in.
Yeah,
And
sure. It's interested, not
so,
what you're
but
working on.
okay, right, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm interested truly in working on number 3.
Number 3, can I remove all the other ones? Is that
Sure,
okay?
sure, absolutely.
Okay.
And I should also tell you how to pronounce my first name. It's pronounced Lilai.
Lilai. Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you so much, Lilai. So
Yeah,
Rohan,
I'll do the removing.
yeah,
And
removing. You have the editing
yeah.
rights. So Leela
Yeah.
is interested in working on goal number 3. We have Anthony interested in goal number 11. And you guys can change your answers. That's completely fine as I speak it out loud. I see CJ working on goal number 8, 9, and 10. He's interested in those things. Economic growth, decent work. By the way, 8, 9, 10, 11, you will find that they do have overlap. And to be fair, all the 17 goals are connected to each other. So if you're working on good health, it will lead to someone having a decent livelihood as well. I've seen that in Africa especially. So they are connected in some way. So if you really are interested in working in teams, you can make a stretch and open up yourself to changing your goal as well. Okay. Goal number 8, 9, 10. Then we have Wasink working on goal number 1, no poverty. I have seen Wasink's project. I'm assuming that he would want to work completely on no poverty. Wasink, correct me if I'm wrong, but he has a project idea quite in advanced stage. Wasink, are you here? And if you're speaking, you're on mute. So feel free to unmute and chip in. Mike, do you have Mike's goal number 3? Yeah, Mike, you raised your hand. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question.
Go
So
ahead.
I've been working on goal number 3 for quite a while.
Okay.
I am open to working with somebody else on a different idea, like you mentioned earlier. But what if
So yeah.
what if we recruit somebody that's interested in goal number 3? If they're
Yeah.
not working on anything, I can bring them to what I'm working on. Or
Okay. So
should we create something totally new?
totally new is a
Just
good
want
idea. But I see Dan also interested in goal number 3. And he's happy to work with you, Mike. So we have a match. I'm like, a real-time Tinder right here. I'm doing matchmaking. But Dan is interested. So Dan, Mike, I'm going to put you in same team because he's interested in working with you. Is that cool?
that works.
Awesome. So Rohan, can you put Mike? Can you just put some same color for Mike and Dan? And let me ask Lilai. Lilai, would you be interested in joining this group that is working on goal number 3 with Dan and Mike, or
I
you
actually
want
I have a specific thing that I'm working on that I'd like to continue working on.
not a problem. Perfect. But are you open to people joining your team?
I'd love for people to join my team.
Okay, awesome. Sounds good. So Dan and Mike, if you guys are interested in goal number 3, and if you do not have a specific project, Lilai is open to having people to
No,
work
I
on
have
your
a
team.
specific project that I'm working on. I actually pitch. I did pitch George and stuff using that idea.
Okay, sounds good. So let's have you and Mike in one team, and then Lila is open for collaboration with anyone. Just everyone keep an eye on that. Okay.
Quick question.
Yes, Rohan.
What goal are you guys working on?
Number
Dan and
3.
Mike?
Dan and Mike,
Goal
number
number
3. Yeah. So let's go to the next one. Wasink is working on goal number 1, goal number 5, 10, and 17. I do know Wasink has a very advanced stage project on no poverty. So if anyone's really interested in no poverty or inequality based work, then I'm assuming if he's open to working on teams. Wasink, can you let us know if you have an interest in collaborating?
Well, of course I do. I'm the
Of course he
major
does.
collaborator.
You are. Okay. So Wasink is open for collaboration, working on no poverty and inequality in one sense. So if anyone's working on that, feel free to put in your name.
And of course, you accurately pointed out how interconnected they are.
They
So
are
the
absolutely.
spine, I believe, is poverty, and then it wraps around all the others. Just want to make that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Okay, so Mike and Dan is there. we have someone interested in economic growth. Wait, I need to learn to pronounce your name again. I'm so sorry.
Nakaja.
Nakaja.
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So Nakaja and Wasim, can we put you in the same team? Is that okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Rohan, let's have them on goal number 1, and of course they will be affecting all the 16 goals besides
Oh.
one. Okay, let's see. We have Sako working on goal number 4, education. Do we have anyone working on education? Let me just put it out there. And or Sako, are you interested in? Ellie, by the way, didn't get the form, but she's saying that she's interested in goal number 10. Okay, we will make a note of that. Ellie, the form link, Rohan can post it right here, so you can fill up your form. Rohan, can you put the type form on the chat so Ellie can fill it out?
Yeah, I'll just do that.
Yeah, awesome. Education. Okay, so we have Alsadi. Am I saying it right? Alsadi Anas.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Alsadi, you're interested in working on education, and so is Sako. Would you be both be interested in collaborating?
Yeah, that's fine.
Awesome. Yeah, you both, even he agreed. So let's have you guys for goal number 4, Rohan. We have Alsadi, and he's not on the list, but he's interested in that. So you can have him and Sako for goal number 4. Okay, Edward. So Edward is working on good health and well-being. Edward, do you have a project, or Lilai's goal number 3 collaboration offer is open and she has a project?
Yes, I'm open to that.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay. Lilai, would you be open to having Edward on your team?
Yeah, anyone as
Okay.
well.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So
Interesting.
Rohan, we have Lilai and Edward working on goal number 3. Wonderful. Anvita, you're working on goal number 8, 11, 12, 17, mostly focused towards work, economic growth, and I do see some responsible consumption. Maybe it has to do with recycling project or something like that.
Actually, I'm leaning a little more towards goal number 17, like the partnerships one.
Partnerships. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And you'll be pleased to know, partnership, that like 17th goal is actually literally everything. Like none of these goals are to be achieved by an individual or one organization. We have to have cross-sectoral, multi-stakeholder partnerships. So I'm going to keep you there. You might fit in multiple projects. If you're interested in partnerships, you might be able to collaborate your value for some other teams that might benefit from collaborating, or having partners.
I
for their
would
business
totally
model.
take her on my team, by the way.
Oh, wow. Okay, you have an offer. You can wait out and see if you have other offers on the table, and if someone is paying you more, or you can jump right now. Like
I don't mind. I'd love to work with
like
Lila.
Shark Tank. Okay, so let's have Anvita in Edward and Lilai's team, Rohan. So that's done. Dan is already on a team. We have Lillian working on decent work and economic growth. We have Bilal Asim working on good health and well-being. Bilal, do you have a project?
Hidden fees.
Sorry.
I can take another partnership too.
Okay, mic is open. Yeah, we need a team of 3 top. We don't need more because then it can get crowded for you guys. But Lillian was saying something. I'm sorry.
Yes, but I have a very specific topic that I would like to.
You do?
Yeah.
Perfect, Lillian, and it's completely cool. So you'll be working on your own project. Is that correct?
Yeah.
But here's a question for you, Lillian. Are you open for someone to collaborate with you on your project in that domain?
Of course. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So Lillian is open for her project, which by the way, you guys can read it on the sheet. She's working on goal number 8, and it's to do with, I can't see the full thing. Lillian, do you want to explain what are you working on?
Yes, I'm working on selling artisan products from villages in Guatemala to markets.
Okay, got it. So that's Lillian's project, and she just put it out in the world if anyone's interested. Okay, that's good. Thanks, Lillian. But you will work on your project, and if anyone's interested, they will come to you. Bilal, yeah, we were working with Bilal Asim. So let's see. Asim, do you have a project?
So my project is at a very initial stage. So it's like very initial stage. So I would want to work with someone else's teams.
Got it. So I do think, Mike, your team has one more spot, right?
Yeah, I'm happy to add Bilal.
Wonderful. So let's have Dan, Mike.
By the way, Bilal, do you prefer to be called Asim or Bilal?
So my first name is Bilal, last name is Asim. You can name with me.
Wonderful. Because I've also had friends whose first name is Asim.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
Right?
same here.
Exactly.
Hence,
Yeah,
yeah.
So
exactly.
I'm,
Okay.
so I'm okay. You can call me with my first name or second name.
Or the
No
last
issue.
name. Got it. Thanks. We will use both interchangeably once in a while,
Okay.
just to spice it up. Okay. Caroline or Caroline? How do I say it? I always mess it up. I'm sorry. Caroline and Jimmy. Goal number 16.
It's
Uh,
Caroline. You had it right the
Caroline.
first time. Yes.
Okay, sorry. So Caroline, do you have a project specifically you're working on? Are you looking to join a team? What's the status?
I have a project that I'm working on right now
Okay.
that has to do with criminal justice reform in America. So I was thinking that it most aligned with 16.
Yes, it does. I do feel that. Yeah. And you would want to continue working on that and have someone join your team, or would you be open the other way around as well, join someone else's team?
I would prefer to work on it.
Okay, got it. Mike, no, sorry, Jimmy. Jimmy, you are also working on goal 16. What's your status?
Yeah, I'm trying to use a test case
Okay.
internationally with the Eastern Congo and violence.
You have a
So
very specific project as well.
yeah, so I would be open to joining other people's teams if they have like a specific thing. But I kind of want to use this as a test case for a couple of other related projects I'm working on.
Okay, got it. So Caroline does have a project, but it's a little different than you, same domain. I do see
I
Renee
also
goal
might
6.
have to leave in 20 minutes, so it might be better just to work by
Okay,
myself.
got it, Caroline. No problem. Thanks for that heads up. We appreciate that. Jimmy, but I do have one more person putting in on the chat. Yeah, Renee, right? Is that how I say it?
Yes.
Renee, actually, you don't have the access to the form because we are using type form. That's where people are putting their answers from. Rohan, if you see, he has put the link right there. You have to use that link, but that's okay. You are interested in goal 16. Jimmy has a project which is quite international in nature, and he's open to joining a team or having collaborators. Would you be interested? Or
I also have an idea that I'm working
sure,
on, which I
not a
mentioned
problem.
yesterday.
Yeah, I do remember your project. Absolutely. Got it. So you would want to continue working on your project, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Let's have you listed Jimmy's project, and then who do we have? We have Mike already a part of team. Adele, do we have you in some team? You're working on goal number 10, reduced inequality. Adele, Sydney, Kashyap, what's the status for all three of you? Let's hear from all three of you and find out. Okay, so Adele says still in the beginning of ideal stages of looking into incorporation of art in US policy creation. Okay, are you specifically interested in that domain, or you have a specific project that you want to work on? Yeah, in that specific domain. So Adele is open. She's not married to a project. She's married to the domain where she wants to do something around art policy.
I think Anvita also has an art related project. So
Anvita is already taken by Lilai's team, I guess.
Yeah.
She took the offer.
Coach
But
Charlie, you got to move quick here.
yeah, that's how the world works. Okay, so let's have Adele on the side for now. Sydney, what about you? And Kashyap.
I do have an idea, but I'm willing to work on whatever. Just to kind of get
Sydney,
ahead
what's
of the process.
you have goal number 3, climate action, and I see Kashyap also goal number 13, climate action. There could be a possible team building over there. Kashyap, what do you think?
Yeah, no, that's great.
Okay, so Sydney is open.
I'm open. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Can we have both of you working on climate action then, Sydney and Adele?
Yeah.
Sydney and Kashyap. Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Wonderful. Let's see who else is left. Ellie and Chris. Both of them. Is there something on this? I can't see. Around 24. Do we have something? Why do I see those dots? I don't know.
One sec.
Okay, they're gone. They're gone. They're gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's look at Ellie, goal number 10, and Chris is working on goal number 8. Any possibility of collaborations over there?
Hey, did we get a teammate for Bilal?
Teammate for Bilal. Did
You guys
we?
put him on my team.
Bilal is still looking for a team, I guess. On goal number 3. Yeah, that's good to know. Bilal, you have a project or you don't have a project?
I thought Bilal got put on with Mike.
Yeah, you had put him on my team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Rohan, put Bilal
Got it,
on
got
Dan
it.
and Mike's team. Okay. So Ellie and Chris, we have 2 people left, I guess.
Sure.
Chris, what's going on? What do you have a project? You want to join a
I do.
team? You do. And you
I
want to
do.
work on that project?
That's correct.
Okay, got it. So, and are you open to someone joining you?
Absolutely.
Got it. And what are you working on, if you don't mind sharing, so Ellie can make a choice?
We have a solution that democratizes intellectual property for marginalized and underserved populations.
Got
And
it.
we're offering it as a service today, and we're in the process of trying to design and develop it as software.
Okay. And I have Ellie saying, I'm thinking towards political engagement for communities. Ellie, what do you think about Chris's project? It does sound it might overlap with your interest. And you do have to leave early, so maybe while you are still here, you can work with Chris and then he can continue on the project. Does that sound good? I'm waiting for Ellie. If you're
Sorry.
speaking, you're on mute.
Yeah, I think I was muted, but that sounds good.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. So let's have Ellie and Chris as part of the team. Rohan.
Yeah.
Great, great. Okay. Does anyone need help? Are we good from what we see here?
I have a quick question. So like if we're in a group, does that mean that we're not like coming into it as a collaboration? I'm confused about that.
Who's asking this? I can't see this.
Oh, Nakaja.
Akasha, so your question is, if you're coming in as a team, what is the question?
Yeah, if you're coming in as a team, is it more so for collaboration or is it just to work under the person that you're under the team?
No, so it is truly going to be collaborative, and we do hope that you guys can work together for the final presentations on Sunday next weekend.
Okay.
So you will continue to work starting today with the team member for all the team activities.
Okay, just confirming. Okay, thank you.
Sounds good. Jimmy has pitched in saying Jimmy likes Chris's project. Could you collaborate on that? Chris, are you open to Jimmy joining a project?
Absolutely.
You got it. So let's have Jimmy
Thanks.
also part of that, Rohan. So we will have Jimmy, Chris, and Eli. Okay. Now we do have someone left. I feel someone's left. I can't tell.
You skipped me.
I did. That's right. And you have an app, I remember.
Yeah.
So what's going on? What do you think? You want to join a team, or you want to continue working on your idea, and you want to make a pitch to other
I would
people?
have loved to work on a team, but I think my supposed teammates have been picked on the other team. So
CJ, what are you working on? What's your, is it decent work, economic growth? Okay. Are you interested from anything that
yeah,
you heard
8,
this?
9, 10. Yeah, that's what I'm working on.
I may be wrong, but I do think Wasing's project has some potential for you to collaborate with under poverty related work, because inequality and poverty and decent work, I do see some possible overlaps. Are you open to that, to working with Wasing?
Okay, I'll try.
If you want to be a part of the team, or you can work
Come
alone.
on, man, join the team.
Oh, hi, what's up? I want to join your team. I'm in.
That's it. You guys got it. Okay, Rohan, make sure you have him with Wasing's team.
All
okay.
right.
And then we do have
nice one.
Antoine left, right?
Yes, that's right.
So, yeah, Antoine, what's going on?
Sorry, did you want to ask me something? Go ahead.
Yeah, so you have a project. My question is, do you want to work on that project and invite someone else, pitch it to everyone and see if someone is interested in jumping and join you? Or are you interested in working on your own? Or the third option is if you are interested in joining someone else.
Yes, I would be, particularly for goals 8,
Goal 8,
13 as well.
Okay, there is Lillian working on goal number 8 with a specific project, though, I guess. Lillian is not part of any team. Is that correct, Lillian?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Do you guys want to have a quick word right now and see if there is a possible collaboration there? Antoine and Lillian, because Lillian is working on goal number 8, which is an overlap with Antoine.
Yeah,
Lillian,
sure.
Can you pitch your project to Antoine?
Antoine?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, the project is about artisans in Guatemala that they don't have access to sell their products. So the project is, it has to do with some logistics and education and things related to selling better the products and educating the people in the villages.
I like the sound of that.
Sorry, you don't have to be a part of the team. You can work alone. But yeah, Antoine, if you have questions, go ahead, ask Lillian.
Sure. Could I ask if there are any other projects for any
yeah.
other goals, just out of curiosity?
Yeah. And goal number 8, right, Antoine? What are you shopping for?
Yes.
Yeah.
8 as well.
Anyone interested in having a team member?
Excuse me, please. Can I please cut in? I'm just
Go
looking at the goal for the team I've been put into. It
Yeah.
has to do with blockchains and all that. I'm finances. I'm not familiar with that.
Okay.
And my goal is to work on the goal 8, 9, 10, and if possible 11. So if Anton, am I right? If
Yeah.
is Anthony, yeah. So I think I can, because I'm actually looking at industry specific and sustainable cities and tourism related products. So I
So
think I
Antoine,
can work.
maybe CJ can work on your project.
Yeah, I do like I like the sound of I'm just trying to think. Yeah, we could do, the thing is it's quite broad as well. You know, it's quite
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to use the word ambitious, but it seems like it's quite long-winded.
So what do you want to do? You guys want to work on your own projects?
We can talk about it.
Yeah,
What
let's
I'm
do
working
this.
on is quite
Let's
broad.
have you guys work together right now. If you guys can collaborate on a project, great. But otherwise, your paths can be open. Or the third option is I can have you guys join a team that's already having 3 members. So we can make that exception. Ideally, I do prefer only 3, but if a team of 3 is open to having you guys, no problem.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good? Yeah.
Yeah, sounds
Okay.
good.
So everyone is
Edward,
cool right now? Anyone?
Can you hear me? Edward.
Yes, you can. Yes, Edward.
I'm looking at this team column here.
Yes.
And you've got interesting thing here is I'm supposed to be number 3. Go.
You are.
Good health and well-being, but I see in the team it looks like I'm in the 8, 9, 10.
No. Don't worry about everything on the left side. You are working with Lilai, who is working on goal number 3.
Okay, I'm trying to line up this.
So what I'll do is I'll put this in a separate spreadsheet
Yeah,
right
separate
here.
sheet,
Oh, a
just
separate
to avoid the
spreadsheet.
confusion.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
I
yes,
see
yes.
now.
You
Okay,
got
I
it.
see it.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions? Yes, go ahead. Who's
Hi,
speaking?
this is Elham.
Elham. Hi, Elham.
Hey, I just joined and I
Okay.
unfortunately missed yesterday's
You did.
meeting as well. But I'm really interested in joining the group and doing this project. So as I understood, it's like we have to choose a project to work on. Is that right?
Yeah, we are looking at trying to find similar domains. So if you are interested in healthcare, poverty, inequality, social justice, and based on that, we are trying to match up people to work together. So these are the teams we have right now. Do you have a preference, one of these? Or
So
do you have a
I
project?
was really interested in peace and justice.
Okay.
So I was wondering if I can join their team.
Yeah, so Caroline, she's going to leave, I guess, in a bit, she said, right? So she might not be.
Yes, I have to leave in 5 minutes.
She has to leave. Okay. Peace and justice. Anyone here working on peace and justice kind of project who might be interested in having Ilham on their team? Can make a pitch.
I'm also working on peace and justice, which is why I wanted to join someone else's team that was working on it. But yeah, I'm not sure if they want to read what I wrote first.
So what can happen is, because Wasink, you're already part of Wasink's team. I would recommend right now, Wasink's work does encompass that for sure. Just like he mentioned, let's Ilham have you part of that if that's okay with Wasink. Because Wasink did lose a team member.
Now you don't have to ask me that.
I
Come
won't
on
ask you
down,
anymore.
Elon. Come on down.
So Ilham, is that cool with you? We put you in Wasink's team?
Yeah.
Awesome. Got it. Rohan, can we make sure that we have Ilham in Wasink's team? Okay, guys, this is awesome. It did take a little longer than I expected, which kind of puts us a little back on, off track from our schedule, but I'm cool, This is important. Okay, so let's do this, guys. I'm thinking you want to take a quick 5-minute check break, everyone, and then come back again and start the second half. Is that cool? Does anyone, or we want to continue?
Continue.
Continue.
Let's take a quick 5-minute break.
D, I think Antoine has a question.
Oh yeah, go ahead. What's the question?
Yeah, I was wondering if I'd be able to work
Yeah,
on goal 8.
you can. I
with-
think Chris just responded that.
All right, let me just take the check. Fantastic. Okay, great. Thank you.
Great. Rohan, make sure you make that change.
D, I'm also happy to work with someone as well.
Okay, great. So I guess CJ is now alone again because Antoine joined Chris's team. Let's have Mariam, you work with CJ. Is that okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Wonderful. So that's pretty much it. Adele, unfortunately, child actually have to leave for the day. Good luck to everyone. Sorry that you have to leave, Adele. Bye. Have a great day. Take care. Okay, we do have someone here as well, Cassandra. I don't know if Cassandra was here yesterday. Cassandra, I just want to make sure that we do count in everyone. Okay, guys, let's do this. I'm going to ask quickly. I don't want to waste 5 minutes.
Can you hear me? My friend I Zoom once, and now it's her name that shows up, so I have to go change it.
Oh, okay. Guys, so very quickly, in next 60 seconds, tell me, you want to break for 5 minutes or you want to continue? Everyone put in your
Continue.
answers. We have one continue. Okay, I'll do
Continue.
whatever. Okay, continue. I see a lot of continuation. Let's continue, guys. And if you do need a break, I do understand. You guys can still do it. It won't be that crazy next 5 minutes. Okay, Rohan, what are we doing next? Where's the schedule? I'm missing my screen here.
One sec.
Okay, so we are going to do how much are we running late? We are running 10 minutes late of the schedule.
Yeah, we're running about 15 minutes late. So
15
what we're
minutes
doing
late,
next is basically doing DFE,
Okay,
brainstorming,
DFE.
and then ultimately leading to the
Got it.
presentation.
Let's do that, guys. So I'm going to now, you guys are, by the way, in the teams. And after I finish this session, maybe we can, Rohan, just have everyone in the team, right? After this event to do this activity so they can get used to their teams.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Can you make sure, Rohan, you are a co-host as well? When you make, Mariam, give Rohan the hosting rights so he can make breakout rooms and assign people while I'm continuing with DFE. So Rohan, you can start making the breakout rooms on the back.
Of course, making you host now.
Okay,
Awesome.
great.
Thanks, Mariam.
So let me continue, guys, everyone, while Rohan is putting breakout rooms for all the team members. And Rohan, you can put me, you, Mariam in different teams, Anvita, all 4 of us spread across different teams, just to make sure everyone is cool.
Sure.
So what is designing for extremes? This is one of the creative ways to truly be divergent in how you come up with ideas. We learn cross-sectoral innovation, and I gave you guys 3 ways to do cross-sectoral innovations. Look at people's behavior, partner with someone from a completely different field, or do analogous, which is you turn a business model upside down, and that's truly innovative. But how do you come up with ideas like this? It seems very easy when you read case studies or when you read blogs. So one of the techniques that we are using, it's not used for creativity, but we creatively are using it to practice creativity. It's called designing for the extremes. In human-centered design, we always tell people that when you make something, you should try to make something for someone who is never going to use your product or who is going to be very apprehensive of using your product or your service. Because if you can convince them, you're going to have everyone else convinced for sure. If you're going to convince someone who is fully, let's say, convinced about, and just for the sake of, not for debate, but sake of giving an example, if someone is completely convinced of socialism, and you try to create a capitalistic model and convince them that this is it, and if they are convinced, everyone else, we believe, will be much easily convinced. So you try to go for the most extreme groups who are most likely not going to agree to what you have to say. So you try to find those outliers, if I may, in your customer segment, in your market segment. So if you are trying to create, let's say, Vasink, you are working on something really ambitious of trying to solve the problem of poverty. You are working it from a very organized perspective. Despite years of research, we have very little organization of standardization of codes on, even a shared agreement, if I may, on what poverty even means. Literally, there are many definitions. So if you try to work with not the people who suffer from that, but people who have nothing, don't even understand poverty in any sense, or have never experienced. And if you try to convince them with your solution and your ideas, and get them on board, it could be much easier to get other people on board. And it's very easy to talk like this, but what I'm going to do is, Rohan is creating breakout rooms. I'm going to give you guys 10 minutes. I'm going to have you push your creative boundaries by giving you some challenge statements. And this has nothing to do with your problems, just for the heck of this activity, to come up with ideas to solve that challenge. And they are really crazy. They are not typical challenges. They are actually made kind of impossible to solve. And that's the whole part of it. But if, because you have time constraint and because I asked you to do, you will have to do it. And if you ever thought you're not creative, I'm going to promise at the end of 10 minutes, you will have something awesome, that you've never thought of. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of examples. By the way, this is a simple example of Graham Bell, who ended up inventing telephone, but it was really a listening device for his wife and mother who were both deaf. So that was a perfect example for designing for the extreme, and of course, now telephone has evolved to something that we use on our phones to play Candy Crush. That is a different story. But that's a cross-sector innovation, if I may. So let's look at the challenge statements. And all the teams here, your teams that we have assigned, you guys are going to go in your private breakout rooms, and you'll get 10 minutes and you can pick any one of this. So how can you design a movie for someone who cannot see? That's your first statement. How can you develop a planning management tool for people with Alzheimer's? How might you design a birthday dessert for someone who has type 2 diabetes? um, how can you design the fastest possible experience for airplane boarding? We all know how that sucks. How can you design a watch for someone who has visual and auditory impairment? They can't see, they can't hear, and you have to make a watch for them. How might you design an app or any other solution to have people break away from social media addiction? So I have this 9 different scenarios. Oh, I missed one. How might we design a pillow for people with insomnia? How might we design an office for people working from home in a studio apartment, living with a partner, a kid, and a dog? And then how might we design a book to teach hard science subjects like physics, chemistry to a child who does not speak your language? So if you speak English, you have to teach physics to someone who speaks Mandarin or Spanish, but you don't speak that language and you have to teach them physics. How can you design a book that can do that? So these are extreme scenarios. Extreme. This is not how the world usually works. So I would give, it's a fun activity. There's no way you can fail this, come up with crazy ideas. I'm not looking for practical ideas. I'm looking for crazy ideas. I really want you to push the envelope. Even if you can't implement something, that's completely cool. I'm giving you 10 minutes for God's sake. I don't expect you to actually solve the problem. So you guys are in your teams, right? So Rohan is going to put you guys in breakout rooms. And you can pick any one of this. And you can pick multiple. If you guys are really geniuses, you can pick all of them. If you can solve all of them in 10 minutes, I don't care. I've had someone who did that. They came up with like 2 ideas for all of this, 18 ideas in 10 minutes. I'm not joking. I'll share some of it with you later on. 18 ideas. That was insane. But think about this, guys. You will have 10 minutes, and with your team, you can brainstorm. Does anyone have a question or doesn't understand what we are doing here? All good? Okay, I assume everyone's good. I do see some hand raising, so please go ahead and unmute yourself. Maybe you forgot to lower your hand, so I'm assuming you forgot to lower your hand. Yeah, looks like that's the case. But if you ever want to have a question or speak something, just unmute yourself and start speaking. You won't disturb me or anyone. Okay, guys. Rohan, are we ready with our breakout rooms?
Yes, we are.
We are. Can you put everyone in the breakout rooms?
Yep, I'll do that.
Okay, guys. I'll see you all in 10 minutes. And yep. And Ron, I guess you are host, so you have the ability to go to different rooms. I can't do that. Just make sure you go for like 2 minutes. I'll wait right here, I guess. By the way, Renee is not in any team, and Caroline, so I can work with Renee.
Okay.
We'll stay in the main room right here. You keep me and Renee right here. Renee, I'll be here if you want to.
I actually
brainstorm with
have
me.
an empty room for you guys, so I'll put you all there.
Okay, awesome. Ron, when we are in the breakout rooms, people do see my shared screen.
Yeah.
Don't know.
No, they don't. They don't.
They don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hey, there's
you're
no one
putting me on.
else. There's no one else, by the way.
So we'll
Yeah,
just stay here.
everybody's assigned. Yeah, it's just us here right now.
Okay. Renee?
Everyone else. I think we have Sumender. I don't know if he's
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah, I don't know if he's still connecting to his audio. That's what it says. Renee, I'm right here if you want to work with me.
But I think Renee was assigned a team. Was she? No, she's not. But yeah.
Okay, I don't know where she's
Renee
gone.
had logged in from 2 devices, so I did put her in a room where there was another solo participant.
Okay, no problem. But Ron, you make sure and go and check out.
Yeah, I'm going to just do that.
I'll wait right here. Go ahead.
Yeah, cool.
Sominder, hi. I think your audio is not connected in case you've joined and you want to speak or have any questions.
going really well.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're 15 minutes late, so no problem. 12:15. Everything moves 15 minutes.
Yeah. One sec. I'll just join another room and see what's up. I think Rennie is alone in a room. Let me see. Go there. I am sending a message that the rooms are closing in 60 seconds.
Yeah. I think people are forced to join main session right after 60 seconds anyway.
Yeah. So should I do that?
Yeah, you don't have to send message. They will have to forcefully come here.
So I'm doing that. Yeah.
So now it's you with prototyping and everything.
Yeah. What
Hi,
did,
Renee.
no. Now it's not me. Now it's
Rohan, I can't hear you.
sorry. Now it's everybody presenting their ideas.
Yeah,
and then
of course.
prototyping.
Yeah.
Hi, Dee.
Hi. I kept calling out for you because I see another version of you and I thought you were alone and I'm like, let's work together. I'm like, why is she not talking back to me? What happened?
That's true. I'm joined on my phone and my laptop.
Yeah, Rohan told me that you had 2 devices. I didn't know that.
And Rennie has the recipe for this amazing cake.
Okay, I can't wait. Rennie, I'll send you my postal address. Please send me the cake.
Sure.
Team 1 is
You
ready.
also like send it to Mumbai.
It's my birthday, by the way, so I really need the cake.
Happy birthday.
No, it's not. I was kidding. I just want the cake.
Oh, we're already back.
We are back. That's life. That's life. Okay, guys. Who wants to go first? Yeah, I like Chris is just playing it safe. Happy birthday to anyone that has a birthday. Yeah.
Team 1.
Happy belated. Chris, you can make it much easier. Happy belated birthday wishes to everyone on this call. No, it's always going to be true. Okay,
Nice.
so let's go.
We
Who
could-
wants to go first? And
Yeah, I
share.
could go
Well, you know,
first.
team.
All right, so I'm gonna go first.
Okay. Anyone who called first is going first. Go ahead,
All right,
CJ.
so my name is CJ. Myself and Miriam, we chose the question that has to do with how do you create a pillow for somebody with an insomnia.
Okay.
So we came up with there are existing solutions already, which has to do with the sleep app and some other conventional alternatives people use. Probably maybe they sleep with a weighted blanket or various others. So what we came up with is to create a pillow, a singing pillow. So instead of you having a different speaker for your app or something, so you have a pillow with bamboo platforms. Okay, we have 2 types of options. We have bamboo platform pillows, which are going to cushion with some synthetic foams and some other kind of cotton materials. And the other option is to have a singing pillow whereby when you just go to bed, you have those app sounds and you go to sleep. So Miriam, am I right? Am I getting it right? If you have anything to add to it, that's the idea actually. Thank
So
you, guys.
basically it would be an app that would be connected to like a pillow cover so that when you immediately put your head on the pillow, it would play like, I don't know, some like a sleeping tune or some sort of story to put you to sleep, and also track how much the hours of deep and light sleep that you got.
Nice. You put Fitbit in the pillow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's cross-sectoral innovation. Not bad. Okay, guys, who's next?
Wasinke.
Wasinke, go ahead.
Our team, Nkosi and Elam, we did several. So
Okay.
the movie for the blind, we came up with a neurotransmitter. We also have a separate device like the Apple device, and then we got the Jordy glasses.
Mm.
And then for the planning question, we all said pretty much a chip.
A chip,
And
okay.
then for faster boarding, airplane boarding, we can get a text. We can have a Google map.
Mm.
Okay, if you have for the watch, then we talked about it vibrates like Braille, you know, or you touch it, you feel it like Braille.
Okay.
And then in the office, in the apartment, we have almost like a glass enclosure where you can go into your glass enclosure. People can see, the dog can see you and all that, but you're still kind of proportioned off.
Hey,
And,
you should patent that glass enclosure, because one of the person on this call is going to steal that idea, and actually you will see it in the markets. That's a
well,
good idea.
they better pay Elon, because she the one came up with it.
And that's a good one. I love that.
And then for the book in the teaching science, we came up with a hologram, or using 2D, visual, or 3D, sort of like those cards where you open it up and then it pops up 3D. So that's what we came up with for these
Got
ideas.
him. Awesome. Thank you so much. Multiple ideas. Love that.
Yes.
Who's going next? Kashyap, I know you raised your hand.
Oh
Go
yeah,
ahead.
we can go next. So my team member is Sydney.
Okay.
All right. So the first one we did 7. So
Oh,
the first one
damn.
is well, we just went crazy. Okay. The first one is what was the first one? So how might we design a movie for visually impaired? So they are definitely they lack the main visual sense. So we are trying to get a movie which uses all the other senses like audio, tactile, smell, taste, and interactive.
Okay.
To kind of get in that immersive environment where they can absorb more.
Mhm.
For the second one, how might we design a planning tool for Alzheimer's? It's more like a combination of a AI, Rohan gave us a good idea as well, like something like a wristband, something
Okay.
that or you can like wear on your head or in a belt, or so something that has a form factor and also
Okay.
as a natural language that gives like constant reminders in a soothing tone, being very compassionate, because in Alzheimer's patients have paranoia usually.
Mm,
So it kind of helps them get in that frame of mind so they can remember things and get
got it.
alerts and stuff. For the third one, how might we design birthday dessert? Yeah, we thought it was sort of the problem has been solved a little bit. You have xylitol, you have all these
Yeah, the sweet
alternatives.
substitution, sweet
Yeah.
substitutor. Yeah.
So the fourth one was the pillow. So our pillow we thought would have this brainwave controlling mechanism that can manipulate your brain to get that deep sleep, and can also play music and can expand and feel
Who
like a
needs
cloud.
music if your brain is manipulated?
That's right.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so it can also expand and you feel like you're on a cloud.
Okay.
The fifth one is the working from an apartment. So whenever we have work to get complete and then there's a lot of noise, you can basically bring your office into like a headset form, right? You can basically work anywhere, and when you press a button, you get into this bubble, and the bubble you can float around wherever you have some space, you can move there and work from there. The next one is teaching someone who doesn't speak your language. We're thinking like the form of storytelling, using non-verbal cues. You can convey a lot through that. And then the last one is for a plane. We only had a half idea and I completed it. So it's like the plane just lands on top of you board from the bottom. So the plane's bottom opens up just like a military aircraft where you load. The plane opens up, and we stand. All the passengers are standing in a platform, and they all go up at the same time. And
You are the second person on this planet who came up with this idea. There's another person who gave me
okay.
exactly the same thing, that when people sit in the boarding area, they should sit according to their seat numbers, and then you lift the whole thing as is.
Lift the whole thing up, yeah.
And you put them inside the plane. That's it. Like,
oh, cool. I would like to work with that person.
Got it. I have to find who's that. I don't remember, but it was one of our students in California. Yeah.
That's funny. Okay,
awesome.
that's it.
That's awesome. Really well done. Okay, I saw Dan and Mike having a laugh when you were sharing. I think there is something similar going on. So let's hear them out.
Yeah, I think we went with Miriam's group, and I think several ones that pitched the pillow and the Alzheimer's. We kind of like were in the same wavelength. So I will go with number 4, and then Dan will go with 2.
Okay.
For the pillow idea, we thought about I called it iPillow, intelligent pillow. Dan came up with the name intelligent, so iPillow. Body temperature. It will know your body temperature, your movement, and then relaxation. Also, it can be integrated with Headspace and Spotify to help you sleep, and then you can track that data it gathers that data. You can also show the quality of your sleep. So if someone like says that you're snoring or whatever, right, and you can show like you didn't sleep well by the data and by numbers. Possibly a dietary recommendation to help you sleep better, and also optimizing it pre-sleep and post-sleep as well, an optimization on that. And Dan will do challenge 2.
Awesome. That's quite comprehensive. Thanks.
Good job, Mike. Yeah, so we were talking about the Alzheimer's group, and a bit differently with regards to the way in which you would track. So rather than it being something that you would put on a patient, we would actually look at an implant, and that implant would take biometric data. We wondered whether or not you could use that to track things like how agitated the patient is, so their emotions. That's particularly important for eventually like the distant family, so like children, so that they can be aware of that information, as quite often the carer don't want to, they rarely want to admit that there are problems going on. Right. You could also use that same implant potentially to look at things like, does this person, are they hungry because their blood glucose levels are very low? Do they need to go to the bathroom because their bladder's full? That kind of thing. So
awesome. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, you went into quite deep empathy for the patient. That's really the key to creating solutions. That's awesome. Lilay, can your team go next?
Yeah, we had I think a demonstration of sort of forgetting what some of the questions were, but here's what we did. For the diabetes one, we came up with a fruit-based dessert. It doesn't necessarily need to be sugar-based, then obviously the artificial sweeteners. But then I actually don't necessarily like sweet stuff, and I don't know that all diabetics do. So then we came up with like a beef crusted dessert, so like beef pie. So no reason to limit yourself to something sweet. And then for the Alzheimer's, we identified the routine is key, that use their muscle memory, which they tend to not lose, to motivate activity. And then an app or glasses to allow them to recognize people based on past interactions they had that were more distant, because their near-term memory is worse than their distant memory usually. And then also the whole watch-based reminders. But then the other thing is that we, and this is sort of more for the people who interact with them, to recognize when the person's getting agitated or forgetful, that using comedy as opposed to trying to set defined rules like, no, you're wrong, right? That isn't a toilet, that's a chair, right? Like just using comedy is a more effective strategy. For the visual impaired people, we decided to use chairs that vibrated to let them know what different cues in the movie might be. And then for the folks who lacked auditory and visual, we included temperature changes, 4D dimensions, including vibration for music, taste. So we would include food and odors at movies. And then for the insomniacs, we actually kind of took it slightly different. So we did some of the same stuff about the apps with musics and stories, but we also decided to do stories that were boring. So like professor that's really tedious, like, as opposed to—
I love that. I'm buying that pillow. That's such a cool idea.
But and then vibration, because babies definitely fall asleep to vibratory things, so that maybe that would work. And then the last thing is a temperature change of the pillows, so that if you weren't asleep within 20 to 30 minutes, that it actually became uncomfortable to be on the pillow, and so you had to get out of bed, because that's one of the strategies for insomnia, is not to just lay in bed just thinking about how you can't fall asleep, but to go up and do something for a little while and then come back.
I have two questions. Did you guys knew about insomniac people, that they don't have to sleep on the bed and they should move? Did someone know that, or did you Google that?
No, I know a little bit about insomnia,
Okay.
just from my background, and but that's generally true, not just for
That
insomnia,
is
but anyone who's having trouble
no,
sleeping.
that is absolutely true. I just was wondering,
Yeah.
did you have knowledge or
I had
you
some
actually had?
Yeah. I
And
had
what
some-
about the Alzheimer's muscle memory? Did you have knowledge or did you guys have to look it
that
up?
was not from me. That was from Avita, who she's gonna have
Anvita?
to. I think she sounded like she had knowledge about that one as well.
Yeah. Anvita, did you knew about that or did you just found out?
You guys got cut off in like the last part. All I heard is like that you mentioned my name, but I didn't hear.
No, I'm just asking, did you know about the muscle memory of the Alzheimer's patient or did you just found out on the internet?
Nah, I took a psychology class in like high school, and I remember it from psych. I thought it was really cool, interesting.
So the reason I'm asking these questions, guys, is if you notice when you solve problems in a creative way, you really go back finding, questioning the core nature of why things are the way they are. So for example, she went back to her psychology class to design something for Alzheimer's patient. That's, I mean, a class that she took maybe years ago. And Lilai was relying on her pre-existing knowledge. It all exists, we have all that domains. It's just a matter of pulling them at the right time and integrating it and coming up with something completely new. That essentially is how creativity is practiced. It takes a lot of time, to do this naturally. It's not natural for people to think like that. But if you keep doing this, it's a habit. Creativity is a habit and it becomes a practice eventually. So anyone else who's left, I do see, Jimmy, Edward, Renee, Chris, a lot of you are left, I think. Alsadi,
Yes,
anyone? Chris, go ahead. We can't hear you. You're on mute.
Apologize. How about now?
It's good. We can hear
Great.
you.
I put the raw notes in the chat stream, so apologize for the organization or lack thereof. Our team decided to go big and go after that. I think you mentioned someone had actually come up with a couple ideas for each. So let us know how we do, because we're not sure we captured everyone. For the office space, we came up with a Murphy bed concept, and this is team AEJC, by the way. So it's our team members. We came up with a Murphy bed type concept that would fold into the wall, and then it could be lowered, and it has customized attachments for each stakeholder, like the dog, the kids, and those folks. For physics for a child that doesn't speak the language, we had a holographic model that would be able to provide demonstrations for them and be language augmented to make sure it's successful for them. For the cake for someone with diabetes, we came up with a cake that's customized based on their testing for blood sugar levels and other components to make sure it's automatically safe. And if there is no safe component, no cake for them, unfortunately.
Love this. Yeah. So you are open to giving them a sugar dessert based on the sugar levels at that time.
That's correct.
Why not? Hell yes. Yeah. Okay.
For the Alzheimer's, we came up with a thin wafer technology iWatch type concept. So there's a patch, it stays with them so they don't have to remember to actually put it on. And it has their schedule embedded in it, an appropriate reminder, and then a bit of comfort to help hopefully remind them that it's something that they put in, so that they won't, to go to the question about hallucinations and other types of things, something to try to make them more comfortable that the schedule is legitimate. Let's see, for the pillow, we had, first of all, we were assuming that the person really wanted to sleep, because we recognized that that may not be the case. They just may want to get comfortable. But for those that want to, we have a setting that offers integrated sleep technology, like aromatherapy, motion therapy, and other things that help in that area. And let's see, I think I may be missing a couple. So team, if you can remember those that I missed, please let me know. Let's see. Oh, the movie theater, yes.
Okay.
So we went biochip implant there, so it actually helps to circumvent any of the sensory deprivations, and they can still have that same experience, and it's customized based on their particular sensory issue or sensory
Chris,
block.
your team could have done something interesting. You could have created one chip that allows you to experience movie, get your insulin levels, find you a cake, put you to sleep. Just one chip for everything. You can have one solution for everything.
And I think the last one we're missing was the airplane boarding, and I love the beam me up approach. Our team came up with why not let everyone just access their row? So just there's a door for everyone. Plane comes in, you get on, or you come in from the front and the back and the middle, and life's good.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Okay, next is Antoine, I guess.
Sorry, I'm in the same team. I'm just wondering, did we mention the social media solution as well?
No, we didn't. Thanks, Antoine. There you go.
All right. That one, it kind of relates to how a lot of some of the current apps work, where there's like a time restriction, but instead it deletes.
It deletes what?
We lost. Sorry, it deletes the app itself.
Oh, damn. That's harsh. I love that though. That's pretty. It can also maybe post embarrassing stuff about you if you stay too long. That was someone who came up with that idea that it will post embarrassing things about you and your bad habits on social media if you don't get off it. But that's neat. That's really extreme. We'll just delete the app if you stay too long.
I mean, you think it would work for Instagram, because there's always that temptation to log in, even if you're not actually on. And if it just cuts out, you think, okay, that's gone. Did we mention the Alzheimer's solution as well? I just wanted to double check.
Yeah, we got that one.
Chris did. Yeah.
Okay.
We got that.
Great. Excellent.
Good stuff. Oh, who's left? Who's remaining?
I think yeah, my team is left.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So what we have, it was about the social media, because we were trying to remember which one can we tackle, and then the social media came first, and we went for that. So the thing we were thinking about, we know it's social media and app. If we wanted to build a app that will be focuses on social physical interaction with people and the environment. So it's like basically you clock in during interaction or activities with your peers and gets the point for the time spent together.
Okay.
So our model was mainly like having like we did with the breakout rooms.
Yeah.
When you wanted to create an activity, or you have an activity like cooking or do like writing essays, read, all those stuff that require physical interaction, people can come, check in, join your meeting. And when it's like that, you guys are interacting each other. And then the incentive is to giving you points so you can get rewards. So whenever you do something beneficial, you get the points to reach the next threshold of rewards. Rewards can be having like plane tickets, buying stuff, gift cards, and all those type of things. And then by beneficial, it means like reading, writing essays, like a random article, plant a tree, helping others, social actions, problem solving, doing even sports in group. You want to go play soccer, and we know you're gonna be away from your phone, from social media. You just have to check in. I'm playing soccer.
Okay.
And then you get the points for the time like you spent while you were doing that.
And again, you can connect that with Fitbit and chips to make sure they're actually playing soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Also, I've heard another idea around this domain was people, the more they come on social media, this person found that, what really hits people is money. So you start taking out money from the checking account as they spend more. And you can set up the limit like $100, and you will be penalized, but it will not go away anywhere. The money will be locked. And if you don't use it for again certain while, they'll again start putting the money back in your checking account.
That can definitely help.
And people, and this person that gave me this idea was very sure this would work, because people are, when you talk about money, people take that really seriously, So
that's true.
I just want to chip in something there, because I had thought of two ideas, and I'll start with the social media one, since a lot of people have lots of ideas on that. Yeah. But I would say from my personal experience using Instagram has this like time thing that after
it does.
Like it never works for me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say, because I also thought about maybe paying people, but actually people make money on social media.
They do.
So it's except you can match I don't think it's possible to match, because if you have huge following and you're making thousands every month, you're probably going to be very, very addicted, and then probably a good addiction, because it's like a business page. But then for someone who is probably not a social media influencer and trying to focus on other areas of their life, then I thought a phone that would not even allow the person to download any social media app, like if it's like a cleanse, like a 21-day cleanse, you have to use phones that only allows you to have office apps, working apps that then you can get so much used to those ones.
I think, and I was going to say exactly what Antoine said. Buy an old Nokia phone. That
well,
would be the
no,
way.
no. I mean,
you don't need an old
have...
Nokia phone. Their new phone it does everything she's saying. They have a brand new phone.
That
has other
doesn't
updates.
let you download Instagram, but you can have like PDF scanner. You can have all the other working.
Yeah, so you don't need an old Nokia. Get the new Nokia.
But the old Nokia is good because you can also make a house out of it. It's like brick, right? It's that heavy. Is anyone that young on this call that they don't know what Nokia is? I've been to events that they don't know. They've never heard Nokia. Is anyone? Is there anyone who's so young they have never heard the word Nokia? And if you are, then we can have a session on that. Then you would make us feel very old.
Like I've only heard Nokia when I went to India, but I've never heard it here growing up. Not once.
There we go. We have a winner, my friend.
But I have heard of it. Like I have.
We have a snake game in Nokia. That was the thing to go with. You were playing snakes.
I was at an event, guys. It was filled with 18, 19-year-olds, freshmen, sophomore, and they're like, what the hell? This guy just said Nokia. Is it a new hashtag that's trending on Twitter? And I'm like, no, it was a phone company. And I had to explain. Anyway, the snake game, of course, the nostalgia. So guys, to being mindful of the time, we are almost done with our time, and we have a whole section that we have not covered. We were 15 minutes behind, but because we got carried away with this exercise so much for good, we are 15 minutes. We added more 15 minutes, so we're half an hour away from our schedule. I want to ask you guys what you want to do. By the way, are any teams that are still remaining that have not gone at all?
I just wanted to add about for the social media. This is Alha. For the social media challenge, I wanted to add that if the Instagram can pause the person who is using it after like 30 minutes or so and ask them what they have learned or inspired or what they got from this time. And if they couldn't answer, then
they can't go in.
Go on.
Yeah. Are you in education field? That seems like a solution a teacher would come up with.
Wouldn't they lose marketing dollars on that?
Yeah.
So I don't think that would be good.
Also, that reminds me, there's this drunk phone lock that once you activate it, in case you get too drunk and you post embarrassing stuff, it actually asks you to solve a math puzzle. If you get it right, only then it unlocks your phone, and then you can go ahead.
But that's also the same app for snoozing your alarm. It asks you a complicated math question, and it wouldn't snooze unless you answer the question. So my friend bought that app for $5. He actually had to break his phone because he's like, I can't solve this and I want to go to bed. He's like, no, I'm going to wake up and exercise every morning. And then he paid $5 for an app, that asks you tough math questions, and he hated that, and he felt so bad deleting it, and waste $5. There's also a jumping alarm clock. A clock physically jumps out of your bed, and you have to chase it all around your house and find it to snooze it. Otherwise, it will make a screaming sound. I think it was on Shark Tank. So
that's what I need.
Yeah, that's probably a child. If you have a child, that's a jumping clock. If you have a dog, that's a jumping clock. They do the same thing. They'll wake you up and run around the house. Okay, so guys, here is a key decision time in your life at this juncture. We are half an hour behind schedule. We have to cover prototyping and testing, which is basically the modules that's going to help you to turn your ideas into some form of a prototype reality. I appreciate your scheduling and all of that, so I'm not going to obviously ask you to stay back. We will do our job. We will give you those modules, but I do want to ask all of you that, can you stay for half an hour? How many of you can stay for another half an hour, 30 minutes? And if we plan to do that, we should take a 5-minute break and then come back, because that is the right thing to do. If you cannot stay back, just let us know. There's no problem. That's okay, because you have Sunday. You have a weekend to go for. But let's do a quick check on everyone. How's everyone doing?
I don't think we'll need half an hour. I think we can get it done in about 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay, so we have 20 minutes. And everyone. Okay. I have to go back soon. Would love to connect with all of you, Miriam. I can. Okay, great. So guys, let's do this. I think we should not take a break then in keeping time. We can just continue and then take that 20 minutes straight up, Rohan, and then wrap it up. We are at 12 o'clock. I'm going to give you a time check after 10 minutes to make sure we do wrap it up on time at 12:10. Rohan, the floor is yours, and everyone who's here, go for it, guys. And anyone who has to leave, we completely get it. please look for that email from Jasmine and from us what to do next. And we hope to see you next weekend and actually build something together. Bye, everyone. But everyone who is here, please continue. Rohan, the floor is yours.
Yep. Just going to share my screen. Chat. Yep. Let me know if you can see my screen. Okay, awesome. So basically, this next session is aimed at helping you all give some form to your ideas. So basically how this is going to go is that you're going to be spending the next 1 week with the team. So I'm just going to post the spreadsheet that has your team members. So make sure you know who they are, connect with them offline, post this workshop, because you're going to be working with them for the rest of the week whenever you get the chance. There's a possibility that you may not be in the time zone as you, so you can go ahead and coordinate that as well. But what we're going to be doing is, until we meet next weekend, we want to see if we can really push ourselves and create some form of a prototype of our idea. Now, by prototype, we don't mean like a working prototype, but just to see if we can give some form to our idea. So what you're going to do is, as a team, see if you can narrow down to one problem statement that you can collectively solve. So you're going to need some brainstorming and discussion there. I mean, of course, you started out with different problem statements, and then we kind of made teams on the basis of similar goals you want to address. But you want to see if you can come up with a single problem statement that all members of the team would like to tackle, right? So that's a suggestion. Make sure you have one problem statement that you take forward, and we'll see how we can come up with an idea for that and prototype. So what I'm basically going to do is just walk you through how do you approach prototyping. This is like a whole course on itself, but I'll just put it together in 15 minutes and just give you a starting point. Now, something that really helps before you start really prototyping your solutions is to do something that we call mood boarding, which is basically you want to see if you can find some inspiration for your ideas, right? And this can be anything, right? From magazines, movies, characters you love, books you love, smell, sound, taste, whatever, right? So, for example, Steve Jobs and his lead designer during Apple, like they literally had to do mood boarding to select the perfect color of white for the first iPhone, right? So they looked at everything from like pebbles on the river to like the the color of a clear cloud. So basically just look for inspiration, and this is you trying to visualize what would this idea look like, and if it did, what would it feel like, what would it remind people of. Now, of course, this can be applied to any kind of an idea, but let's say if you're designing an app, I heard someone saying that you want to work on something that's blockchain based. If you're making an app, you might also be making a service, something that helps like patients adhere to treatment, but it's important for you to have an inspiration of ideas, like what does it inspire you from? So for example, if let's say you were designing something for patients suffering from arthritis, right, where they have joint ache, you could totally take inspiration from Iron Man, and you were like, hey, what if you could have like a suit that patients wear and they could fly around? That's completely okay. At this stage, you don't want to look for feasibility, you just want to look at things that you are inspired by, right? So Pinterest is great. Just go on there and look at stuff that really inspire you, and as a team, so you can put all of that together. And I'm going to talk about a few tools that can help you collaborate while you work remotely. So just basically have a visual map of everything that inspires you as you try to visualize what would your solution look like. It could be a product, it could be a service, it doesn't matter. This applies to both, right? Now, once you do create a mood board of idea inspirations, the first thing that you want to do is to create a user journey map. So a user journey map basically represents when you put your solution into the system where that problem currently exists, what would the journey of a user look like, someone who takes your solution, takes your service, or uses your product, right? And it kind of shows all the key moments of engagement with your solution, just to highlight what does the whole journey look like from start to finish. So an example of like what a user journey looks like would be something like this, right? Which is basically the customer journey that shows a service that helps you book, like newspaper recycling. Someone comes and picks it up and gives it back to them. So just visually representing what does your solution look like. If you had a user, of course, this information will be sent to you, the whole slide deck, and then you can go ahead and read up about it. So try and see if you can create a user journey map showing your whole solution visually. What happens, does the user click on something? If it's an app, what page opens up, or do they need to go somewhere to a kiosk if you're making a service, just to kind of show what does the whole service look like once it's out there in the real world. Another example of a user journey. So this is something that some of our students made when we were running a workshop in Kenya. So they were designing a solution for the problem of lack of storage and financial education for farmers that led to a lot of crop wastage because they didn't know what to do with excess crops, or they didn't have good yield. So if you see, it starts from the top left where you had sad farmers, and there would be workshops on financial literacy and storage, and that would assist them. They would have an app to assist them in budgeting and planning, and they could also now apply bank loans because the problem wasn't a lack of financial help, but they weren't educated enough to take that financial help. So that's how they would have happy farmers, and they could use the bumper harvest to store it in community storage centers, and then also make like pickles, and also have pesticides and know what to do with it, and therefore that would lead to happy farmers in the end. So it's just a very basic visual representation of like what your solution could look like. You can draw it, there's no marks for drawing, but just putting it all down on paper to have it in front of you, and then plan how do you go ahead and optimize this. Now, for those of you who are making apps, I mean, we live in 2020, so no matter what we make, we will have a website for it. Nothing exists in the world anymore without a website. So another way to look at user journey maps, especially when it comes to websites or apps, is as a user flow, which is basically trying to plan what pages are you going to have on your apps, and what does a user need to do in order to go from page A to page B. So for example, if I was making, let's say, a food delivery app like Uber Eats, what do I need to open in order to look at the list of restaurants? How can I see their menu? What do I need to click in order to add something to the cart? How do I check out? How many steps does it take? So taking that same user journey concept, but applying it in case your solution involves an app or a website. So you can basically map out all of the pages and all of the interactions that are required in order to get the user from A, which is like a need that a user has. So let's say I'm hungry, I don't have time to cook, I'm busy in a meeting, and I want to order some food. So what page do I go to, and ultimately how do I check out and finally know that my food is coming to me? What are the pages, or what are the steps in between? Now, of course, like it will take some time for you to decide whether you are an app-based solution or a service-based solution, because now you're in teams. So you will have to do some discussion there, but these are just references that you can use when you plan your next move, right? So another thing that I wanted to quickly show you all is when you're trying to plan your user flows, there's something called wireframing. So a wireframe is basically just simply sketching. You can literally sketch it on paper to give you an idea of what your app or website could look like if you're going with that kind of a solution. So this is basically a wireframe for YouTube. If you had to sketch YouTube to explain it to someone, what is it that you're building? Like this is literally what it looks like. So you don't focus on the details, but you kind of show, what the user experience feels like. Of course, like UI and UX are whole courses on their own. But a good approach to trying to visualize an app once you've made your user flow is to see what the individual pages could look like, or let's say the most important pages could look like, right? You can go ahead and create wireframes for that. So these are different tools to help you kind of turn your idea into something more real. So yeah, wireframing is a pretty quick way to kind of put it down on paper and kind of see what your product would look like. Now, usually when you're designing an app or a site, you want to start with a sketch and then make a wireframe and then finally move to something like a mockup. Now, I understand that you may not have the skills or the time to do this at this stage, but I want to quickly show you all tools that can actually help you do this with no coding skills required, or very little time. It's literally just drag and drop. But it might allow you all to create like apps, like pages for apps, or just like to show what your website looks like, including clicks, without having to code or without any technical skills at all. So for example, the first tool that I would recommend all teams to use is tool called Miro. It's really great. It's free, by the way. All of these tools are free. So you can use it for team brainstorming and for creating the user journey maps that we just discussed. It allows you to get on calls, but it has this whole interface where you can recreate that whole experience of using post-its. You can paste stuff here, and you can also mood board, right? So Miro is free, so you can get on Miro, create boards there, and use that to start brainstorming for ideas, about your solutions throughout the week when you're working in teams. So there's the link right there. You can take a screenshot. I'll also be sending you the whole slide deck, so you'll have this for reference. The second tool that you want to perhaps try out is called Marvel app. And this is recommended for, again, in case you're making an app, a web or a mobile app, you can easily use this tool to just drag and drop and make things. In fact, I'm going to show you a quick demo of what you can do with Marvel app without any technical skills in the matter of a few minutes in a bit. So for example, this right here is an app that is made on Marvel app by a friend called Emma. So she was working on a problem statement of offering information about crops and agriculture to farmers and farming communities in Kenya. So this is basically the mock-up of like an app that was made using Marvel app, the tool that I just spoke about. So it allows you to
You have 9 minutes.
Right. So it allows you to have interaction, so you can actually see pages, you can click on something, you can have pop-ups, no coding skills. It's basically just drag and drop, and you can have the mock-up of an app like this created using Marvel app, and it's pretty solid. We've had students in the past use Marvel app to create mock-ups for their ideas, and it just allows you to just have a prototype for your idea with as little effort as required. And finally, something that we would really, really encourage you guys to do during this time is to see if you can have a landing page for the idea. Now, I know it sounds very overwhelming, to have a landing page, or you might feel like, hey, we're doing something for extremely remote communities and we don't even need one. But your landing page is not just for your stakeholders. So a landing page is basically a single page website that kind of has information about whatever it is that you're building, but it's also great for other people to kind of find and connect with you. And the reason we suggest that you go ahead and try creating a landing page is that it also allows you to think through how you want to talk about your idea to other people and also like make it real. You can delete it after a week, it doesn't matter, but like just going ahead, and it's free, it doesn't cost you anything. So this is one tool. It's pretty advanced. If you want to create a full website, you don't need to do that right now, but you can use Card in case you want to just drag and drop and create like a one pager for your idea. Again, completely free. Go ahead and you can use it. Another reason why we're telling you this is here's some suggested homework, not for grades, but for fun that you could do is that now that you're in teams, see if you can actually come up with a name, right? So basically this whole exercise is designed for y'all to literally be a startup founder for a week and consider this to be a safe space. So whatever problem statement you pick and whatever solution you decide you want to make, you can go ahead, test it out, try it out, show it to your friends and family, get some feedback. And you can fail in a week, and that's completely okay, because next weekend you can come back and share what you learned, and then you can move on with your life and do something else, right? So it's very low effort, low risk, but just making something and putting it out there in the world. So yeah, so go ahead and see if you can come up with a name for your startup or a name for your team. Maybe create like a one pager somewhere out there, like a landing page. You can use Squarespace or Card or any of the tools that you like. You could even use WordPress for that matter. And create like a user journey for your solution to help you plan, what that would look like. And also at the same time, you could create a prototype. So if you're working on a service startup, you can your user journey itself could be the blueprint for what it is that you want to do. But the main goal of why we're doing this is because we want to get some feedback, by actually showing everything that we've been working on for the last 2 days and everything you will be working on during this week. To possibly, your family and friends and get some feedback from them. And as a bonus, if you can actually reach out to an actual stakeholder who would have been ideal for your solution and hear what they have to say, that would be brilliant, right? So yeah, just go ahead and see if you can do this. Be a founder for a week, use it as a safe space to fail, try new things, and we can all see what we learn from each other. Of course, like, this is not to add pressure. Just do it for fun, do it to learn. And if you need any help, we're going to be on Slack. So I'm just going to tell you what that is. Throughout the week, even though we will not be meeting like face to face, both Dee and me, along with other organizers of this program, like, we're going to hang out on Slack. So Slack is basically a communication tool. So it's right here, the link. You can click on that, and once you're inside, you're going to see this channel called GW Jumpstart. You can join that, and you're already going to find me and Dee there. So throughout the week, if you get stuck with anything, you have any questions, you can just feel free to reach out to us and ask. So yeah, yes, I'm going to post the Slack link on the chat as well.
Quick question.
Yes.
I'm gonna volunteer myself to get slaughtered here. Can I share my my journey map just so you
Yes,
guys
you
can
can.
go through it as an example?
So Mike, what I want to do is I want to officially call off today and then keep this channel open for anyone who wants to hang out in the end and want to ask us questions or want to share anything like I did yesterday.
Okay, yeah, that
So
works.
let's wait a few minutes. Yeah, absolutely. Happy to hang around and answer and look at your map. But before we do that, guys, any questions that you have for us before you leave?
The link is not working, Rohan.
I just posted the new link right here.
Yeah, it was missing the K at the end.
Yeah.
Now it's there. Okay, questions, guys. Thank you so much for today. Thank you, Antoine, for participating and engaging. And have a good evening, I guess, because you are joining.
That's right. Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
5 p. Well, 5:17.
Thanks, Ali.
Sorry, I have a question. Since I missed yesterday's session, I was wondering if anyone has just 5-minute time to just give me some ideas what happened yesterday and what you're doing exactly.
Thanks, Akko. Ilam, what we can do is you are part of a team. Maybe you guys will have to engage through the week anyway. So if your team can help you with a quick review, that would be great. And if you don't get help, feel free to reach out to me or Rohan on Slack.
Okay, thank you so much.
You got it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Edward.
Thank you.
Let's see. Wasink, stay back, my man. We have a lot to talk. Thanks. Thanks, Lillian. Thanks, Ali. Wait, what happened? Are we still here? Yeah.
Some of us are.
Yeah, I see. Okay, hold on. Oh, wait, my video is off. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm back here. I'm just waiting for officially for people to sign off. Good. So Wasink, we'll go in an order. I want to have Mike share his stuff, and then I'll come to you next. Is that okay?
You good? Because I'm retired, so I got plenty of time.
Nice. And you're not retired. You're ready for work, I feel. Okay. Mike, go ahead. Share your stuff. We are here for you.
Sorry about that. Yeah, the reason why I wanted to share was because I feel like I want to continue working on my idea.
I love it. Go ahead.
And I have round 2 of Pitch George next week, so I kind of want to.
Yeah, let's not waste time. Let's get there.
Can I get a screen sharing ability?
Yeah, sure. Let me do that. If I'm the host, I can give you that.
I can probably do it. I'll just.
Yeah, Anvita is the host. Anvita, go ahead.
Should be.
Anvita, you were in the February workshop. Is that correct?
February? I was there last year. I don't know if that was February.
Yeah. Last fall, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't
know. Beforehand, should I explain what my idea is?
Like, yeah, go ahead, Mike. Why don't?
So, my name's Mike. I'm a global MBA student.
Real quick, Mike, you should be able to share now.
Okay, great.
Okay.
It should be able to share, yeah.
I just wanted to give you guys a background. Can you see my screen?
We can. I can see your screen right now.
Okay. You can see the journey map.
I can see your customer journey map. Absolutely. Happy Plate.
Yep. So my company is Happy Plate. A little story, a background about Happy Plate, how it started.
Yeah.
At the age of 25, I was given a shocking diagnosis with chronic kidney disease, and I was given 6 months to live. To receive that news at such a young age and at a pinnacle point of my career in New York City in the financial services industry, I was just distraught, sad, bunch of anxiety on like what to do and how to eat. And doctors told me go eat according to this dietary restriction, but I had no clue how to put it together. I went and put blue. I went and ordered Blue Apron, all the meal kits possible at that time, but everything was one size fits all. Nothing was according to my dietary restriction. So I thought about an idea like, what if I create a meal kit that works for people in my circumstances?
Mm-hmm.
I tested the meal kit. People at my time, I didn't survey customers at that time. The wrong thing I did is I worked based on my bias.
Yeah.
And created my own. But a lot of the users didn't want to cook because some are in treatment, they don't have time, they're going back and forth. And so now I'm trying to improve that platform based on their feedback and create a tech marketplace that allows users to find customized ready to eat meals according to their chronic condition.
Got it.
And
it could be any chronic condition or specific.
Well, as an MVP, I have to do chronic kidney disease because that's what I know well.
Yeah.
But I don't know, 2-3 years down the line, I want to be able to do every other chronic condition.
And I think, Mike, your case is a classic design for extreme philosophy. You might be designing it for people with some kind of chronic diseases, but it might be for anyone who wants to have a different kind of a diet, a much low sodium diet for their kidneys, going easy on their kidneys. So I see that, low sodium is a big thing for people who have no problems with their kidney.
Exactly. So that's exactly why I actually wanted to meet you and pitch this idea to you so I can get some feedback based on your presentation yesterday and today. But the reason why I wanted to run this customer journey map, I don't want to take too much of your time, is just to see if my head is in the right area. I decided to break down this customer journey map between awareness, discovery, ordering, waiting, receiving, consuming, and sharing, but then also the experience. There's an experience, there's a feeling, thinking, and doing.
Yep, I know that. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I don't have a lot of experience in the startup, but I took a lot.
No one has experience in the startup.
Yeah,
in the startup, so that is why it's a startup.
Yeah, so I took a lot of workshops and stuff to get here. So my awareness in the beginning of doing is just got diagnosed with a chronic condition, or CKD to be specific. They intend to eat per their kidney guidelines. They realize their schedule is packed with medical appointments.
Yeah.
So what they do is they search for ready-to-eat meals discovery, and then they find Happy Plate and they download the app. They get into the app, they answer questionnaires that is specific to their needs that we ask on the back end.
Sure.
And then they browse menu and order, and they order. And then between that, while they're waiting, they go to the doctors for their treatment, medication, dialysis, or whatever they have to go through.
Yeah.
And then they get notified when food is on the way. They collect the order, they enjoy their meal, and they share the experience with others. I'm rushing it just so
I'm keeping up with you, no problem.
Okay. For thinking is like, oh my God, what do I eat? How do I prepare? How do I teach my family member if I can't cook, right? If it's my mother that's taking care of me, like, how do I teach her how to make according to my dietary restriction? Because there's a lot of cultural bias. I'm Ethiopian, right? And I'm vegan and
love the Ethiopian food.
Yeah, my parents are heavy meat eaters. I don't eat meat.
Okay.
And so it's like there's always cultural bias in them influencing me to eat meat.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for my body, right? And so like, how do I teach these people? So I try to use a lot of my own personal experience in building this, but I also understand there's a lot of biases that goes into it. I need to find a ready-to-eat meals that's kidney friendly, this will help me save time to follow up with my health. I need to join community of people that are going through this so I can ask similar questions. Facebook groups and stuff I tested tend to be, you can only ask questions that whoever the admin set it up. And so sometimes they kick you off if you ask questions they don't feel like is appropriate. So that also hurts the person that's going through this. Are these frozen meals? Would it be fresh? Would it be nice to have the service come with a dietitian on demand to ask, right?
So I actually, and I don't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to add something to what you said. I read through the whole thing, the thinking piece. It's amazing. I have two questions and one suggestion. The suggestion is this particular thing that you just said, dietitian on demand. That's a whole layer of service on top of a product. So I think that's amazing that you have that you recognize that you should offer that as an extension, and you should put it in your business model that you are a product company which has a service layer on top of it. That is dietitian on demand. You should keep it optional. That will allow you to create different business revenue models. People do freemium models, and and all of that. So
I put that exactly because of I was looking at a business model.
That's amazing. Okay.
And to answer that.
So that's good. In fact, the dietitian service, because it's a layer on top, it cuts through your entire timeline and moves forward as well. It keeps a track. You can do a check. You can change your schedule because as your health changes, you might want to get back to a little maybe higher sodium intake again just to get your kidney used to it. So that's good. One question was
I surveyed dietitians, and then the response I got is like we have the 8 to 5 job in hospitals.
Yeah.
Like how do we find money? How do we create money on an extra pocket money while we work?
You need to find dietitians that are not part of a healthcare network. You need to find freelancer dietitians because they are the ones who are going to buy. They're your first early adopters.
Okay.
Do not get into a healthcare network. American network is not built for entrepreneurs to really create something stuff, especially healthcare. So I would go to dietitians. You can go to people. You can go to the grad schools where people graduate out of dietitian program. You will always find some of these people who are not going to be taken by hospitals, who might want to go alone, might want to go freelancing. They are your first target. That's the one who's going to first adapt your program. So that's one. And then you'll still find some established players in the market who are not part of any healthcare networks. They are lone wolves. They practice on their own. So you might want to go to them, not someone who's part of a network, because once you get into that game, you're adding a whole layer of complexity that you don't want to deal with.
Yeah. Also, another help that I need in thinking or mentorship was like, how do I avoid? I want to be a tech platform for this reason to avoid all the.
I get it. You won't be.
I don't want to be seen as a healthcare company, or
No,
I want to be looked at as a tech company, similar to like Uber is a public transportation company, right?
I get it, and that's why I said I think you're designing for the extreme, but your marketing language is not going to be focused on this is a product for people with some kind of a disorder.
Mm-hmm.
This is a well-balanced, dietitian recommended healthy meal option. Specially recommended for people with following disorders, but you have to sell it to everyone on this planet because that's how you're going to make it a sustainable business model. Finding people with only chronic disorder, finding that very niche, it's going to be difficult even in terms of customer discovery and customer acquisition, especially from the fact that you were enterprising as a person. When you got this disorder, you made it a mission of yours own that I'm going to figure out how to take care of my health. That might not be the case. So most of these people are going to rely on the advice they get, which might be outdated or really expensive, or they can't really get to it. So what you did is not what everyone else is going to do. So it's really difficult for people to even invest in their own health despite having a disorder. They are going to still rely on, I'll just eat regular stuff, but then I'll pop some pills. That is a lot of Western medicine culture, to be fair. So
there's a study and there's a study with heart patients. They come out of their heart transplant or whatever from the hospital, they immediately go to McDonald's.
Exactly. I'm not surprised.
Chipotle and stuff because they want to be able to find something that's quick. Of course, So that enables them to go back. That makes them go back because of the consumption of high fat, high salt, whatever.
And the hospitals love it.
Yep.
They want you to come back. You know, that's customer
So,
acquisition and retention for them.
I gave a speech at American Diabetes. The CEO of
Yep.
American Diabetes invited me to present my concept, and I was warned that like, hey, healthcare professionals and from big pharmas are looking at this presentation, so like tone down your messaging because the way you're looking at it doesn't work. So it kind of scares me to go
No,
into
so
this
if
field.
anyone told you, Mike, to tone down your presentation, I think you are on the right track. Because it has an impact on people. You don't change your messaging, you will have to change the people you go after. If you go in the healthcare field, people are going to get offended. They see you are taking away business from a lot of people by providing a much more holistic solution, because this and your indirect competitor, your direct competitors are of course the other the other meal kit services. That's your direct competition. But your indirect competition is medicines. People still, or maybe that's even direct, who knows, I don't know so much about this yet, I'll have to look into it. You might know more than me, but medicines and pharmaceutical companies are your competitors in this case.
Indirect competitors.
Yeah, I think they're indirect, not direct.
But I mean, as a business model, I also see where I can work with insurance companies. I know you were mentioning insurance companies earlier.
It's a bait, stay away for now. That's what I'm saying. I think Mike, my first reaction, this is my reaction, I'm not being proactive yet. If I had this information before, but I'm reacting, is that this is amazing. Your customer life cycle, customer journey map is right on point. You have a powerful story. You are a speaker, I can tell that. You know how to present yourself, no problems there, everything's solid. Your business model, the way you package this is what's going to change the game for you. You jump into the fact that this is a specialized chronic disorder kit, a lot of people are going to be upset. You make this a healthy meal kit option, which happens to be one of the best options for people with this particular disease, because that's your story. Trust me, because I still believe that is a much more sustainable model. I see myself as a candidate for what you're selling here, Mike. I mean, as a customer, I always look for low sodium options because I know the impact salt has on your kidneys in long term. I don't want to wait until I get sick and then change my diet.
Yeah, I would love for us to take it offline and
I would love to do that, Mike.
Yeah.
Yes. Are you based in DC or Maryland? You said.
Yeah, I'm in DC, Maryland. Yeah.
You're in DC, Maryland.
Like
okay, and you are a global MBA student with GW.
Yep, class of 2022. I'm a freshman now.
Oh, you started this year.
Yep.
Sounds good.
I came to business school is tough. Honestly, I came to business school because I didn't have the right resources and mentorship, and this exactly thing that we're doing now.
Yep.
I didn't have it, so I felt like the best way to come was to either go to GW or Georgetown within their entrepreneurship innovation lab. And so I joined this program for that reason.
That's amazing. Let's get you to the next step. And you said you have a pitch next week.
Yeah, I'm on round 2 of Pitch George.
Do you have a pitch deck?
I prepared one, but we have to pitch without a pitch deck.
Okay, that's good.
So I pitched my first one. My second one is next Saturday at like 9 o'clock.
Do you have a logo for the company? Have you done any work?
I've done a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's already registered in Delaware and
love it. Send me whatever you can share, which is not IP protected, because I'm not.
Send me an email.
Yeah, sure.
What's your email?
Let me type it right here.
Okay. Thank you so much, though. Yeah.
You got it, Mike.
So is it okay to continue working on this idea with the teammates that I assigned, or do you prefer me to work on something else?
Your choice, Mike. Absolutely do what benefits you and your project.
All right.
Hey, Mike, I have a quick question.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, because not only am I a nurse, but I also have a couple of chronic diseases.
Oh, okay.
So my question to you is, who have you identified as your competitors?
Great question. I always battle with that. Right now, I'm looking at Mom's Meals and Magic Kitchen, because I've been only looking at a lot of people told me to just look at chronic kidney disease for now. But I have few other competitors that are direct and indirect as well.
No, I understand. I just wanted to know if you had gone down that road, because eating, just like cookbooks, brother, they've been around for a million years. And I can tell you that the biggest frustration in the industry, since I am a nurse, is that you can educate people all day and have them still not follow these diets or guidance or apps or whatever. So, you know, that's just the challenge. And that's why the pharmaceutical industry looks for their solution, because people behaviorally don't comply.
Yeah.
And it's their own health.
And
so
maybe
then you can be sued, or, you know, you can have a complaint against a doctor or a hospital about outcomes if you slide into needing a kidney. But the whole time is, if you track somebody's history, you can see they didn't comply with the guidance. So, you know, so it's great to have the guidance, but the real challenge, you know, and that's why behavioral economics is so hot today and people get Nobel Prize for it, is because the ultimate is, how do you get people to change their own behavior?
Compliance is big. Pharma companies spend millions of dollars not on drug discovery but on compliance. Like, how can we make people comply to this?
Exactly. That's the biggest, you know, that is the biggest challenge, because it's free will. I mean, and again, being a nurse, so I've seen people destroy transplants.
Yeah.
They get a transplant and still don't change their behavior.
Yeah.
So
I'm a transplant candidate. I'm waiting on my transplant as well. So like for me, I'm always looking to answer this problem. Where would I gamify it? The reason why I like the example earlier where there was multiple partnership and cross work with different industries is for that reason. It's like, how do we find, either on an app or on an educational level, how do we find people to even maintain the level of health they have now?
That's what I'm saying, my man. If you do that, you'll be the first trillionaire.
I'm thinking about it, but
that's the holy grail that no one has figured out to date. No one, nowhere. It doesn't matter if you're Olympic training to go to the Olympics. Sports, it's the hardest challenge.
Yeah.
And these are people who are motivated to do these things, but still don't always. Only the rare person stays real, you know, a stickler for following certain kind of guidelines. So anyway, so thanks for sharing that, because I was curious what you ran into.
Yeah, I mean, I look forward to connecting with you and keeping in touch as well. Thank you for that recommendation you gave me. That's something I think about a lot of times, like because of what I went through in the public health on the healthcare side. I think I do a lot of things from experience, and but I'm also talking to a lot of patients at this time. And so coming from a nurse, with your background, I think this was very helpful.
Well, and that's just one person's. I mean, so you know, statistically, what you look at is things that he was sharing about statistical behavior. You know, because of course I know all the direct patients I've had. I know family members. I know in conversations, but statistically, we know people don't follow. They don't follow the guidance.
Yeah,
we have data to show that, and you have data.
I have 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let you guys catch up. I'm gonna send you an email, and then I'll look forward to continue the chat.
Sounds good.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
I'm going to continue with Wasing. Bye.
All right, I'll send you an email right after.
Thanks, Mike. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Wasing Amistad Kaizen Bemende. Is that right?
It's Wasing K.
Wasing K. Amistad.
Yes.
Kaizen.
Yeah, exactly.
And last name?
B. Mende.
B. Mende.
Yeah,
what's the history, my friend?
Yeah, it's the Mende tribe of Sierra Leone and Liberia.
You come from Sierra Leone, your family?
I'm descendant.
Wow, nice.
Well, you know, so I had to do my genealogy, of course.
Yeah.
Because I had a slave name in America, of course. Because, you know, we were disconnected from our roots. But I just happened to be from Tennessee, where we had Alex Haley. And when Alex Haley did his thing, I went, aha, there's a thing called roots.
Brilliant.
So I started working on mine, and I discovered that I'm descended from the men that were on the Amistad incident. That's why Amistad is in my name.
I thought they were that name. That's why I asked, what's the history? That seems
And they were Mende, And so that's how I got connected, because I did my genealogy and realized, wow, you know. But the thing that I wanted to give you a shout out about is, man, I love the fact that you guys have the Slack set up, because my number one thing is, you know, and I share this with my teammates.
Yeah.
What I'm doing, and you said it, what I'm doing is number one and connected.
Yeah.
So poverty is at the root of so many different things. If you don't help a person break the cycle of poverty, you can do all these other things all day and all night, and they're going to have limited results.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see what response I get from my fellow classmates.
Yeah.
When I'm asking them for their, support in a sense of just voting.
Yeah. Are you a student at GWO?
No, I'm at New Mexico Tech.
Oh yeah, you mentioned. How did you come across this workshop?
Because I'm all about entrepreneurship, brother.
You're just looking out. You're looking for next thing. You're looking to get connected.
Hello? How many schools you think are doing what you guys doing?
I have no idea.
Exactly. But I can tell you, because I'm on every email list.
Nice.
Well, because, man, you can't learn if you're not, it's a flat earth. If you're not reaching out to see what's happening in this school and that school, then I'm a part of all these entrepreneurial programs through school. And so we get, you can plug in to so many different programs, that's out there doing different things. My school is brand new. The president of the school just added entrepreneurial focus. So we knew as students that we didn't, that our school didn't have anything developed.
Yeah.
So we had to look out to see, by the time I graduate, they will, there may not be anything, you know what I'm saying? It may take a long time.
Yeah.
But I got to act now. I got to get hot.
Absolutely.
And so forth.
Let's start with your project. I'm on your document, Kaizen Rhino Solutions International Consultancy. It's a one-pager. You know your stuff. You put it on one page. That's amazing. Saves time, gets to the point. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth straight up. I read it. I have a sense of it. I want to hear it from you and just cement my understanding and then have a conversation with you. How can I help?
Oh, yes. Are you talking about like right now?
Right now, let's go.
Well, the whole thing is, in all of my work in this whole, as you know, the war on poverty started in 1964. So it's 56 years after the war on poverty, which included the establishment of AmeriCorps Vista, which I completed 1 year with AmeriCorps Vista, and their whole mission is to combat poverty. And the establishment of the Institute for Research on Poverty. There are 9 university-based institutes dealing with poverty. We're talking, this is post 56 years. Correct. So how come poverty is still at the same level?
Exactly.
Why is there still so much poverty?
Hey, not on the same level, maybe it's worsened.
Okay, so what I discovered was that industry, we don't have a standard. We don't have a 5G, a Wi-Fi 6. We don't have, that's foundational. So in my design, from all that work, so I didn't put the cart before the horse. I did the study and talked to people, and I realized not having a standard is the base. So, and then Peter Coy at Bloomberg magazine, TV and all that, his group came up with the Bloomberg wealth number. And I realized that makes it easy to communicate. So a 3.5 is $5,000. Everybody in the world can understand that. So if we use a 3.5 as a global standard, then that would be minimum wealth for every person.
Sure.
And you wouldn't have anybody that doesn't own. I mean, there are people in the world today that don't even own 1 penny.
That's right. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then because they don't have access, so with the PPP, when the government said, all right, we're going to give everybody $1,200. Well, they couldn't give everybody $1,200. Why? Because 50 million people in the US are unbanked.
That's right.
So how are they going to get it to them?
Yeah.
Then that adds cost. So now you're wasting money just to do a transaction. That's ridiculous.
Correct.
So all of that supports the idea. We simply need a standard in place just so everybody can have, can access the financial system at the lowest cost and with the greatest impact.
Sure.
So that's essentially it. And then I partnered that with an account design that produces an income. So if you own dividend stocks, you own a market-based source of income. What are we the alternative to? Universal basic income, which you mentioned several times. Now, how do you get universal basic income? You have to tax one group of people,
correct,
to give the other group. As soon as you stop that taxation, they don't have a source of income. But in the market-based model, if they own a basket of dividend stocks, the only way they would lose income is the whole system would have to collapse. We're talking the entire system.
Yeah.
So that means that model is sustainable.
Correct.
So that's essentially it. It's
how far are you on your project with GPIA?
Well, it's completed. What I don't have is that number 17. You know, number 17 is partnerships for the goals.
What's your? Do you have a business model somewhere that you made?
Yeah, the business model. The business model is we're working with. The goal is to work with funders and nonprofits, but the revenue model is a toll license. So if we get a license with the platform is already existing. The platform is already global.
Yeah.
And that is the transfer agent platform. So that platform exists today. It's already secure. It's military grade secure. If we were to have a license with that platform, we could get paid 1 penny for account. And then if you're talking 4 billion people unbanked, you can do the math. So that's our revenue model. But what we don't have is that first partnership.
Okay.
We're lacking the
1 second.
very first, huh?
Yes, I'm back. Sorry.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing right now. We're just trying to find the first organization to demonstrate it. We have proof of concept.
Sure.
You know, I have done studies with
What
Georgetown
kind of
University.
organization would be your ideal partner?
Well, any organization that had IDA accounts. So there's tons of them. And right there in DC, there's there are asset building accounts. You know, those are the, you know, or the UBI. So right now, UBI was piloted in Stockton, California, but he's gotten 20 mayors to join his coalition. Any one of those cities would be an ideal partner because they already understand trying to help people. All we're changing or adding is a free market-based model. So any of those 20 cities would be
I'm on the
an
website.
example.
I'm seeing who's there on the list. Let's see. Georgia, Providence, Long Beach, Hudson. You know what? We might be in luck. I know someone really close. So Kamal Johnson, Hudson.
See that, brother? That's why you the man.
Okay, so two possible connections. Jim Kenney. I worked with the previous administration in Philadelphia when we had Mayor Nutter, Michael Nutter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I worked with that administration. I'm still friends with the deputy mayor of Philadelphia, the ex-deputy mayor before the Jim Kenney's administration. Getting to Jim Kenney's office is very simple for me because my company is based in Philly. I'm in New York though now, but all my connections are in Philadelphia. So
this is perfect because all we need is a small demonstration.
I think Hudson is more likely because Hudson is right now very up and coming, and Kamal Johnson seems like a young, dynamic mayor. I'm doing a workshop for Hudson Incubator virtually, of course, and my friend Eric runs that incubator in Hudson. His goal is to make Hudson the new centerpiece of economy and help local small businesses, because in the previous understanding of Hudson as a community was you want to make it big, you go to New York City. That's not true anymore. The pandemic, in fact, forced them to stay in Hudson. So Hudson doesn't have a school, which is very interesting. They don't have a university of their own or a college or any of that.
So you're saying Hudson, Pennsylvania, that town?
Wait, no, Hudson, New York. Hudson, New York.
Oh, Hudson, New York.
That's one of the mayors for a guaranteed income.
Oh, I know. I thought you were saying Philadelphia though. See,
No,
remember you
so
said
I said I know I am connected in Philly because of my past experience.
exactly.
I knew the previous administration. I will try Jim Kenney. I don't know that administration,
I
but
got
I know people who work for the administration for sure. Hudson, I think I'm more likely to connect.
Oh, that's it. That's too easy. Because all we need is one example. You know how it is with the whole adoption bell curve. Everybody else is waiting to see who
That's right,
adopts it
exactly.
first.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's going to be the first one? That's always
Exactly. And then what's so great about our program is it doesn't involve taxes or debt. So you would think they would see the value, but it still is a barrier because of the notoriety, the incumbent status of UBI. Everybody thinks of the UBI, which they don't like because it's taxes. They don't admit it a lot of times. But we're an alternative model. If we did a side by side, they would really see it.
So, Vasinke, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send an email to my friend Eric in Hudson, see what strings he can pull for us to, what degree of connection he has to the mayor's office. Should have something. I have a strong feeling, considering he's doing economic development work in Hudson. And once that he comes through, he replies back. So first I send an email, then he replies back to me. As soon as I get a response from him, in my response to him, I'll copy you and your project information, and then I will let you guys take it from there.
Perfect, man. Because all we need to demo this because it comports with the UN. So basically, once we demonstrate to somebody else, then we can go to the UN and say, hey, you know that no poverty goal that you have that has 100 different approaches. They can keep all them 100, but here's a backbone one.
Yeah.
And so yeah, man, this is great.
How long you've been working on this? It seems like I'm assuming it's for life, but did you formally register this in 2017? Is that correct?
Yeah. But you're right about for life because
things like this they're not projects, they are goals, they're life's mission. That's
but you know why? Because at first you have to learn from the environment you're in. So at first I was following what everybody say you should do.
Yeah.
I was getting the education because, like I said, the war on poverty started in 1964. So I was, going to universities. Like I'm certified at University of Wisconsin as a financial coach, and people don't have no idea how much education background I have. I was following everything they said, just like what Mike had said about his experience.
Yeah.
And then you realize that those guys are not innovative. Man, exactly. They stay stuck with the same ideas, and then they teach that to the PhD candidate who's trying to please the professor. So they want to get good grades, and so they're presenting the same information, regurgitating it. And next thing you know, you end up 50 years later, the problem hadn't even moved 2 inches.
Yeah, exactly. Not only it hasn't moved 2 inches, it may have gone backwards and worsened it.
Exactly. And then everybody's quoting all these people as though they're so expert. I'm like, if they were judged like a business, they'd be out of business.
Have you read the book called Dead Aid by Dambisa Moyo?
No, Debt Aid?
Dead Aid.
Or is it debt or dead? D-A-D.
Dead. You're dead, not alive.
Right. No, I figured that's what you were saying. Dead Aid.
So that book, the subtext for the title of the book is why you should stop giving charity to Africa. It's killing them. And she is an African woman. She is not an American talking about it. Now she's an American citizen.
Right. Because it creates dependency.
Check it out. You will love it. It's a quick read. It's not a heavy
right.
economist book. I had a pleasure to meet her 6 years ago in New York City, and she really influenced a lot of my work in Africa. I think it could be a really good resource for what you're working on as well.
Well, it absolutely is. But like you said, the Catch 2020 has even been mentioned in this class here, is those funders see everybody, the nonprofits are just trying to get the attention of the funder. Exactly. And if the funder don't know any better, so it's hard to break this cycle. People have tried to break it. People have talked about, that's why GN and those organizations came up to try to add some measurements to some of the social stuff, because the social stuff, they just measured, well, how many people did you have in your class?
Yeah.
They weren't measuring, was the behavior changed? No, they were measuring, it was a matrix based on numbers.
Yeah.
And all it did is create dependency.
I think it was a pleasure today talking to you. Pleasure knowing you and your work. I'm really excited to meet someone like you and your energy. And it's my pleasure to work with someone like you.
Man, and you wonder why, brother, meeting you is why I hound the earth, right? because you'd be surprised how many programs I graduated from.
Yeah, sorry?
You'd be surprised how many programs I graduated
yeah,
from.
you mentioned you've been to all of them, most of them.
No progress. No progress. I got to meet somebody like you, who takes you to that next step.
I can't wait. Let's do
yes,
this.
Sir, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you for connecting. I'll see you next weekend, I guess.
Absolutely. Well, online, because I'll be on.
We'll be on
because I got to see if my classmates are going to be responsive.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you in Slack.
All right, brother. Thank
Bye.
you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Somender? Somender? Yes, there's no one. Okay, that's the end of day 2.